FIVEaa.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Physio Extra is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. physioextra.com.
2 people have died in floodwaters in New South Wales and Queensland. In the Gold Coast hinterland, the body of a man's been found inside an overturned ute. And police are investigating the death of a man in floodwaters in Sydney's northwest. More from 9's Selene Lambetsos.
The 25-year-old was in Glenorrey for his first day in a new job when he drove into deep floodwater, becoming trapped. Police believe he called friends to tell them what was happening. He also called 000 and spoke to an operator for about 40 minutes before the line cut out. Initial inspections of the car suggest he tried to get out but couldn't, potentially due to damage to the brand new vehicle's electronics. Police say the road he was on did have warning signs and there's a chance he didn't see how deep the water was. The man's body was eventually found in the car 30 metres from the road and 6 metres deep in water.
Well, the latest contingent of South Australian SES volunteers will head to New South Wales today to help with the flood emergency. Music icons Kylie Minogue and Ed Sheeran have performed at the State Memorial for Australian music industry figure Michael Gudinski. 7,200 people gathered at Rod Laver Arena for the tribute. Jimmy Barnes also sang and shared memories about his friend of 50 years.
He was one of a kind. We don't have to say that. Everybody knows that. Michael was one of a kind, and Australian music would not be what it is today without his support and without his love and without his nurturing.
Fire has damaged a fruit and veg shop at the McGill Shopping Centre overnight. Nicole Bradley from the MFS says it broke out just after midnight.
10 appliances and 2 support vehicles extinguished the fire in approximately 1 hour. The shed has received extensive damage, whilst the fruit and veg shop and butcher have received minor damage.
Victoria's hotel quarantine is due to again be tested, with the state government expected to sign off on a resumption of international flights into Melbourne. The scheme has been shut down for 6 weeks after a UK strain of COVID escaped from a quarantine hotel. Queensland researchers found night shift workers have almost double the risk of catching COVID-19. The James Cook University study used data which recorded the lifestyle, medical history, nutritional habits, physical measurements and blood samples of 500,000 UK residents. Senior Research Fellow Dr Yakut Fatima says it may mean night shift workers need to have early access to a vaccine.
We need to protect them identify them as the high-risk group and offer them the same sort of services as we are offering to other high-risk groups.
Oil prices have climbed on international markets amid fears supplies could be disrupted by the grounding of a giant container ship in the Suez Canal. Around 10% of world trade, including huge quantities of oil, pass through the waterway. The Queen has welcomed the dramatic arrival of her 10th great-grandchild, who was born on the bathroom floor. More from 9's Ben Avery in London.
The Queen's eldest granddaughter, Zara Tindall, gave birth to a baby boy at 6 p.m. on Sunday night. His name is Lucas Philip Tindall. He's the couple's 3rd child and 22nd in line to the throne. Zara's rugby star husband, Mike Tindall, announced the news on a podcast, revealing that the birth happened on their bathroom floor because they didn't have time to make it to hospital. Buckingham Palace has released a statement saying the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh are delighted with the news and are looking forward to meeting their 10th great-grandchild when circumstances allow.
Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide midfielder Connor Rozee has ruled himself out of Saturday's clash against Essendon at Adelaide Oval. The 21-year-old telling Rowie his foot injury has improved significantly and he's not far away.
Got pretty close, but it's just probably a little bit too much of a risk to push to this weekend. So it's looking like I'll definitely be back next week, but probably just a little bit too much risk to push it for this week.
Still on footy, and Collingwood Vice Captain Taylor Adams says they're hoping round 2 will have a better outcome than the opening round lost, saying they didn't handle the buzz surrounding round 1 as well as they would have liked. The Magpies take on Carlton tonight at the MCG.
No doubt, this is a big game of footy. We're playing our old rivals. We're playing back at the MCG. There's increased crowds. They're a team that are a huge chance to play finals this year with their list and the recruits they've got in. We're really keen to play finals again. So, 2 powerhouse clubs. Looking forward to it.
Two games in the A-League overnight, with Wellington heaping more misery on the Melbourne Victory after smashing them 4-1. In last night's other game, Perth Glory and Sydney FC played out a 1-1 draw. And Cameron Smith has been awarded the Greg Norman Medal as Australia's best performing golfer of the year. He edged out his President's Cup teammate Adam Scott and women's ace Minjee Lee for the honour. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now the FIVEaa forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Partly cloudy and 21 today, cloudy again tomorrow, 24, a possible morning shower Saturday, 22, and partly cloudy again on Sunday, 23. At the moment, 17. More news as it happens on FIVEaa.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to FIVEaa Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 after 6, good morning to you and welcome to Thursday on FIVEaa Breakfast. Coming up on the program this morning, we're off to the US before 7 o'clock. Then after 7, we'll talk about a mass relaxation of restrictions in time for Easter that'll be welcome news to a couple of industries that we'll chat with. Deanna Wallace from Wallace Cinemas will speak with the Reverend Stephen Ogden about changes to church services. Ian Horn from the Hotels Association as well after 7 o'clock, as well as getting your thoughts on changes that'll mean by and large almost every venue will be able to have now up to 75% capacity from Wednesday next week. Matt Abraham will be on the show and we will talk about the spin of the week.
5 out of 10 every time.
We've got a brand new segment for you coming up after 8 o'clock for our YouTube and Facebook live stream viewers in particular, so make sure you stick around for that one. And then after 8:30, the plight of the Ever Given, the ship stuck in the Suez Canal at the moment, will be the focus of our chat. We discussed it first after 8 yesterday, and here we are 22 hours later, and it's still a problem. Huge problem for global trade, and the pictures just kind of look funny. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Terrific news about the pre-Easter easing of restrictions, and it's an overruling of COVID-19 health advice by the Police Commissioner. I think this is where the sort of philosophical tensions within the pandemic management have been highlighted the best in South Australia over the past 12 months, where the sort of more libertarian view of the world, which is always held, and I think quite recklessly, because you look at the death toll and you know, you think back to comments made by Dr. Fauci when we spoke to him last year on this show, that caution and collectivism were the two best protections against mass outbreaks, and the countries that took this sort of laissez-faire approach, like the United States and Sweden, where
Brazil,
Brazil, absolutely, have paid a higher price, a much higher price in terms of the loss of life. But given the way things are tracking now, for there's still to be a view within health that 50% pubs is better than 75% pubs, and you know. It does, and that's not a criticism of SA Health, because if you said to SA Health, should you drive a car, should you eat steak tartare, should you eat Roquefort cheese, unpasteurised?
Yeah, what's their medical opinion? No.
I reckon there'd be a whole bunch of things we do all the time and actually enjoy, like eating Roquefort cheese. How good's Roquefort cheese, by the way?
Sensational.
Just quietly. Have you ever tried it with honey?
Oh, my goodness.
How good is that?
That is good stuff.
Yeah. So Grant Stevens has come in and gone, now let's just have a little bit more fun.
Well, I think at some point there was always going to be a natural tension whereby the capacity for SA Health to determine the right outcome was going to be diminished. And that is because they're expert in, and they've proven this time and time again, in how to stop the spread of COVID. They're expert in treating it, predicting what's going to happen next, and saying if you don't want to get COVID or spread it, here are the things you need to do. What they're not expert at is pointing out the point that identifying the moment at which the risk of COVID is not as great as the damage being done to business, employment, and people's livelihoods.
And people's sanity.
And that's okay. That's not what they do every day.
Yeah, that's right. That's not their day job.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it needed to be someone's job on the transition committee to make that determination. Okay, so the risk is now at a point we get what you're saying. We can always do these things to make sure there's a 100% chance that there's no spread and no issue, and it'll be more containable. But have we reached the tipping point whereby the most onerous restrictions now don't protect as much but hurt much more in other ways? And I think it's good that Grant Stevens has showed the leadership to say, I'm willing to wear this. I think we've reached that point.
Yeah, I think we have too.
Mind you, I'd like to think that the best position to make that determination is the Premier of South Australia. Because I'm not sure it's the Police Commissioner's day job either to determine economic impacts.
No, and this is the interesting thing around the whole country too, that not just the economic impact, but to take the mood of the people. Ultimately, historically, it's been the job of political leaders to go, I don't know if people are going to cop this.
Yep.
You know, this is what I'm hearing. You know, this is why you have electorates.
That's right.
So you can get around and talk to people and they can say, look, this is really good, we're happy with this, or we're not happy at all with this. But, yeah, I've never really understood why the Premier's not on that committee.
But yeah,
I know it's because it's the historic origins of it with having a state coordinator is that, you know, there's a bushfire and you need to make decisions in real time,
and it will last for 3 days.
Yeah, well, that's it. But a lot of these things, I'm sure there's conversations between the Commissioner and the Premier.
Oh, absolutely. But it just surprises me that it would be the Premier, the one who come out and said, look, take some ownership of this decision and say, I've made it known to everyone on the committee that my very strong view is this. Not what they have said.
Politically, though, this is the problem, because if you do that today, then you've got to end up owning things like the Woodville pizza bar fiasco.
Absolutely. But look, that's leadership.
I know, but this is the interesting thing where I think worldwide we've got to the point where the one form of words that we've heard more in the past year than ever in history are the advice that I have, the advice that I've received. I've been advised that.
But then, okay, that's not an action without downside too, because then you look like you've just sat out the whole process. You've been sidelined, and you've just been happy to carry out the will of a group of others. Anyway, look, it's a good news announcement.
It is a very good news
announcement. It's exciting, and I'm sure Stephen Ogden, the Reverend, will be delighted to hear the news that
it's good for
something approaching a normal mass.
Yeah. So it's 75%.
75% up to 1,000. So if you've got capacity for 1,000 in your church, you can have 75%.
Up to 1,000 is going to mean a lot of churches still won't look like what they normally do at Easter time, I'd imagine.
1,000's pretty big.
Wouldn't some of those sort of Pentecostalist joints
get
more than
that's
more
true.
than 1,000?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Probably not too many in South Australia.
Nah. Well, yeah, I can only...
It's been a while since I stepped foot in a place of worship. Do you ever do you do Easter and Christmas, Will?
No, not every year. Every now and then I get a bit of pang of Catholic guilt and I'll go in.
You know what I used to like doing with my ex-wife was Greek Easter.
Oh, yeah.
That was big.
Yeah, would have been massive.
Good food as well.
Hey, speaking of
You've had mayaritza?
No.
I won't describe it on air because it'll upset a lot of our listeners.
Okay.
It's a soup made with what used to be described euphemistically as variety meats.
See, I don't want anything that requires its meat to be described euphemistically.
No, it's terrific though.
Hey,
I won't give out the recipe on here.
But speaking of your family, yesterday you got the news at about 8:30 live on the air that you were going to have to make a trek to Robe to pick up your son from school camp.
660-kilometre round trip.
Now, I
had to do an interview in Strathalbyn, so I did that on the way. And I'd planned to have a nice afternoon. I was going to ring my sister and pop in for a cuppa, but it ended up being a bit of a race against time. Not that I raced. So yeah, had to get Jim from school camp. So I left Strath at 1:30, got to Robe at 4:45. Spent about 15 minutes stretching my legs, chatting to the people running the camp, talking to his schoolmates. Got back in the car, did the exact same drive again.
That's brutal.
Yeah, I must admit, when the alarm went this morning, I was like, oh, you're kidding. And even getting back into the car, just getting in the car, like, how did cabbies do it all day? Sitting in a car all day. And this was different from holiday driving. Like, if you do a holiday drive, you know, I love holiday driving. Like, we went to lawn for a wedding a couple of years ago, flew over, rented a car, drove back with the kids, went along the Great Ocean Road, had dinner at the barn at Mount Gambier. Fantastic steakhouse.
That's good, that place.
Good, that place. Great wine list. Meandered through the Coonawarra. Like, that's different. But when you know you've got to drive like a huge distance purely to pick someone up, then turn around and do the exact same thing again.
There's no payoff.
Nah. Having said that, though, that stretch of road from Meningie down to Kingston, the whole length of the Coorong is just breathtakingly beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's spectacular.
But, you know, once was enough in one day.
Yeah, you got to take it on both sides of the road.
Yeah,
That's
well, there it is
exciting.
again. Hey, look, there it is. There's Policeman's Point again.
Now it's on my left.
There's Meningie, yeah.
16 after
there's
6,
again.
8223 0000 is the number if you'd like to jump into the conversation at any point over the course of the morning. You can text us too on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line or watch along on the 5AA Facebook or YouTube live streams. News headlines right after this.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of ready-to-hang roller blinds and 40% off the entire range of ready-to-hang eyelet curtains. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
G'day to warm nights. G'day to the great outback. G'day to seaside escapes. G'day to the open road. There's no better time to hit the road with over 40 holiday parks in South Australia and over 280 Australia-wide. G'day Parks has the greatest choice of holiday parks in the greatest destinations. Plan and book your next trip at g'dayparks.com.au and say g'day to more of Australia.
At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we believe that what you want is pretty straightforward. A service department that offers factory-trained mechanics, next-day servicing, complimentary pickup and delivery, wash and vacuum is standard, brake, wheel alignment and shock absorber testing included, complimentary loan cars, breakfast or lunch is on us, and access Wi-Fi while you're waiting. Go online to book your service today and experience the difference. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Port Adelaide are back. And so are we. We're back marching. We're back singing. We're back together. Experience it live, loud and in person. 3-game memberships from just $100. Grab yours from the Port Adelaide website today. You've got to be there.
Harvey Norman's largest clearance centre is now open. It's big, it's red, and it's on Marion Road. Kitchen, laundry and cooking appliances, big screen TVs, homewares and so much more. New, second, scratch and dent and factory refurbished stock, all with manufacturer's warranty. Furniture, bedding and mattress offers, brand new designs always arriving, and an outdoor range that just goes wow. Carpet end of rolls, a huge rug display and flooring bulk stacked ready to go. Harvey Norman's huge clearance centre. It's big, it's red, and it's at 919 Marion Road.
I don't think people understand Kangaroo Island as much as they should. There's no place like an island, and when you land or when you drive off the ferry, you've just got that stretch of water in between, and let me tell you, it's a completely different mindset.
A stunning lifestyle opportunity awaits on Kangaroo Island. Generous lots at the Seaside Emu Bay development are selling fast. View the views. Go to seasideki.com.au.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
20 minutes after 6. Time for news headlines on this Thursday morning. Residents of flood zones are being warned not to risk driving through waters as an investigation begins into the death of a man in Sydney's northwest. He drowned after becoming trapped in his car. In the Gold Coast hinterland, a body was found inside an overturned ute, and police confirmed it's that of a 38-year-old man who's been missing since Monday. Music icons Kylie Minogue and Ed Sheeran have performed at the State Memorial for Australian music industry figure Michael Gudinski. 7,200 people gathered in Melbourne for last night's tribute, and here's a little bit of it.
So I'm extremely, extremely grateful to be here. I know it's a difficult thing to get into this country, and I don't take it for granted for all the hard work of getting me here, and I really just appreciate the opportunity to say goodbye. Yeah, here's a song I finished last week.
I wish that heaven had visiting hours, so I could just show up and bring her news that she's getting older, and I wish that you met her.
That's Ed Sheeran at the Gudinski tribute last night. COVID restrictions in South Australia are set to ease further next week. Pubs, clubs and restaurants will be allowed to operate at 75% from Wednesday, while caps on indoor venues such as churches and cinemas will be lifted entirely, with masks still required to be worn once a venue reaches 50%. Here is the Premier, Stephen Marshall.
We go to 3 per 4 square metres, which roughly equates to 75%. I know this is going to be a massive relief for many organisations in South Australia. They want to see that density level increased so that they can create more jobs, and that's what this is all about.
We've received a few texts on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line from people talking about the mask wearing at church services, asking is that part of it? That absolutely is part of it. If you want 100%, masks would need to be worn.
Did you notice at the footy people wearing them on arrival last week?
Yeah, well, not on arrival, but certainly once in the ground. There was probably outside, I would think it was about 50-50, wearing them versus not wearing them. But then once you got in the ground, you couldn't get in without it on. And if you didn't have one on you, like in fact, I didn't, I left mine. I got halfway there and I thought, oh God, I've left my mask at home.
Did you get in trouble?
No, well, no. And it was, I knew this was going to be the case because it was like at Highmarsh Stadium where I've been previously. The security hands out masks at the door, so I got a 3-pack. I'm fully masked up now.
Excellent
for the next 3 rounds.
Disposable ones.
Yeah, disposable
right.
ones.
Cool.
So they just hand you a pack. Another $125 million will be spent providing grants to restart arts and entertainment activity around Australia. The federal government is boosting its RISE program to a total of $200 million. Speaking of texts we've been getting, got one a short time ago. In fact, you might just grab it, David, and read this one out about Extinction Rebellion. Protesters have once again caused havoc in the CBD. The climate activists brought parts of the city to a standstill yesterday afternoon, staging organised flash mobs at busy intersections.
Mark from Glenside said, I got stuck in the middle of the Extinction Rebellion protest when I was crossing Pulteney Street into Rundle Street. The cause is important, but the way they were carrying on just crystallised in my mind what social media has done to society. People starving for attention and doing anything to get people to notice them. It was so cringeworthy. I guess doing something is better than nothing. Good text, Mark. I don't know. I'd go one further and say maybe sometimes doing something is worse than doing nothing.
It looks like it's a social club. Watching all the videos of them dancing around beforehand.
Well, a lot of them seem to be like crazed grannies as well.
I'm sure it gives you a feel good, like, oh, we're doing something good for the environment. But the event seems to be the fun part. Oh, we get to dance around and we've choreographed it.
But they're the women who dance on their own at WOMAD.
Yes.
You know, when Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan's getting his sitar out, or there's some throat music from Mongolia, and they go into the zone and they stand there in their happy pants and their sort of Balinese cheesecloth blouses, just swirling around like they're at some Australian Democrats convention in 1983. That's where they are now. You can find these people on the corner of Pulteney Street and Rundle Street.
Powerful word picture. Oil prices have climbed on international markets amid fears supply could be disrupted by the grounding of a giant container ship in the Suez Canal. About 10% of world trade, including huge quantities of oil, passes through the waterway. It's still stuck, albeit they're slowly refloating it. We're going to speak with an expert after 8:30 about the impacts of this.
See, one of the best interviews in the world, and the person who deserves some massive media scrutiny right now is the driver of this boat.
Oh, absolutely.
He's the new Costa Concordia guy.
Well, yeah, I don't know if he was showing a particularly attractive guest on the boat around the bridge at the time.
Who knows?
But who knows? It's worth asking the question. Top of 21 today, 24 tomorrow, 22 on Saturday with potentially a couple of mils of rain. Sunday will be 23 and Monday 25.
Design experts Kyle and Kara's top DIY tips, thanks to Beaumont Tiles.
Since being on the block in 2014, we've completed more than 35 projects and we keep coming back to Beaumont Tiles.
If you're having a go at DIY tiling, here's our top tips to get it right. Measure twice and order 10% extra. Get all your tools and grouts from Beaumont's and ask their experts to ensure you get the right product for the job. Surface prep is key, especially if you're tackling a wet area. and dry lay your tiles before you lay them down.
Jump on tile.com.au and download Beaumont's DIY booklet. It's got every tip and trick and videos to guide you.
So if you're looking to tackle an Easter tiling job, head into Beaumont's for all your tiles, glues, grouts and tools.
That's why we chose Beaumont's.
Beaumont's has Australia's largest range of tiles, with experts in store to help you DIY too. See tile.com.au.
Wakey, wakey! It's savings time at Dreamland.
That's right. Wake up and get into Dreamland and save up to 50% off in Dreamland's Wake Up Sale. You'll get up to 50% off Sealy Posturepedic, Sleepmaker, Sleep Haven, Restopedic and exclusive Utopia mattresses. And for this month only, get Sleepmaker Claire Queen Pocket Spring mattresses for half price. That's only $999 for the queen size. Plus get great deals on all beds and bedroom furniture. All in Dreamland's Wake Up Sale.
So wake up and come to Dreamland. Dreamland.
Hi, my name is Melanie. I'm a registered nurse. Australia's COVID-19 vaccination program is underway with Phase 1A, including those most at risk in our community: healthcare workers, quarantine, aged care and disability workers and the people they look after in care accommodation. To ensure the best protection, they must be given 2 doses. To find out when it's your turn, go to australia.gov.au.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of ready-to-hang roller blinds and 40% off the entire range of ready-to-hang eyelet curtains. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
You might think having thousands of pals is excessive, but that's not what the team at Parafield Airport Liquor Store think. Because that's how many they have. Sure, they might be made up of over 100 gins, over 200 whiskies, over 300 craft beers, and over 2,000 boutique wines. But they're some of the best pals you could have, and they're always looking for more, even if they are tricky to track down. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
You miss the littlest things when you're away from home. Like that perfectly brewed cuppa in your favourite mug. At Bupa, we want you to be as comfortable as possible. And because life happens, we'll support your health and well-being by offering rehab and chemo in the comfort of your own home. To learn more, search Bupa. Bupa, because life happens. Available to eligible customers on selected products. Waiting periods, fund, policy and program rules apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
28 minutes after 6. Tom Wren joins us in the 5AA Breakfast studio. Thanks to Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr Dishwasher. Save up to $800 on selected meal and cooking appliances. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Tonight, 75,000 at the MCG, so a different feel for, fan goers at the footy tonight over in Melbourne. They'll have
Collingwood too.
Collingwood, they'll have to scan in a QR code, so they have to get with the times a bit there. So looking forward to it.
Carlton will be favourites too, won't they?
No, I think Collingwood are just narrow. It's line ball, but Collingwood should be a cracking game. But boys, this morning I wanted to talk to you about Anthony Mundine. He's retired finally, officially, age 45, and it got me thinking, Anthony Mundine, love him or hate him, and there's a lot on either side of the fence, is he the most controversial Aussie sports star we've ever had? If you can just have a quick think. I'll throw a couple at you that might be, now, not necessarily most hated, and I know a lot of people don't like him, but most controversial. I'll throw a couple at you. James Hird.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Israel Folau.
Yeah.
I think he's in a weird league of his own.
the trio of Bancroft, Warner and Smith.
Yeah.
So you catch my drift? Is there anyone else there?
No, that's a pretty good list.
Wardy's sort of in there, but not for notoriety, more for just being a headline machine, isn't he? Some of the
he's controversial, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I reckon Mundine's different, because I think Mundine really understood the theatre of boxing. And I think he knew exactly what he was doing and saying at all times.
Even things like embracing Islam seem to be a bit of a Cassius Clay sort of doffing of the cap by him,
Well, he kept getting fights, and look, the reality is for these guys, you make your money based on the interest that's generated in the fight. Pay-per-views is linked directly, more so than any other sport. So you've got to make it an event, and he made his fights an event, whether you liked him or not. And I always kind of respected him for doing that. He made boxing an event in Australia when it's really battling. It battles as a sport here for something that gets the national consciousness. But he did it, and look, he was good in his own right. He had a couple of world title fights that in Europe that didn't work out earlier in his career. But I always took everything he said with a grain of salt because I think he always knew exactly where his bread was buttered.
And he wasn't very bright either. Like, some of the things he said, like about September 11, and he sort of came out about 3 months later and made this comment. It was just before a fight, and it just, mate, just shut up, will you? There was nothing intelligent about it. I got to say, I don't think the saddest thing about Mundine was that he quit rugby league so early.
He was one hell of a player.
Rugby league player
for St George.
Oh yeah,
he was an incredible player.
If he could have gone through, he would definitely have been one of the great rugby league players of all time.
An immortal, potentially?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, he was very, very good and very controversial too. But I think, Will, to your point, you're spot on. It's the sport of boxing is if you're going to make a big payday, you got to sell it.
Absolutely.
And probably
he always sold it. Well, and he always knew he needed a whole bunch of people that absolutely loved him and a whole bunch of people that absolutely hated him. Because guess what? When they divide up the pay-per-view money, it all gets divvied up no matter why people are watching.
Yeah, that's
and he
right.
got that better than anyone.
Yeah.
Saw him fight at the SCG one night, and I tell you what, New South Wales Police, they could have put a net over the crowd. They would have eliminated the next 20 years of crime in New South Wales. My God, you've never seen a bigger pack of reprobates in the one space. A lot of face tats.
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
More than 4,000 people will soon be allowed to return home as flood threat eases in parts of New South Wales. The Hawkesbury River is slowly falling, but there's still a moderate to major flood level in many areas. Meantime, the coroner will be given a recording of a man's desperate 40-minute phone call with FIVEaa before he drowned in floodwaters in Sydney's northwest. The 25-year-old was in Glenorrey for his first day at a new job when he became trapped in his car in deep water. It's believed he called some friends and FIVEaa. Detective Inspector Chris Laird says he tried to get free but couldn't.
We've requested the call. That will form part of the coroner's investigation. A tragic accident that, in hindsight, it's easy to say it could be avoided, but another timely reminder, swollen rivers during flood crisis, turn around and drive the other way. It's not worth losing your life over.
While on the Gold Coast hinterland, the body of a man has been found inside an overturned ute. The life of Australian music industry icon Michael Gudinski has been celebrated at a state memorial service in Melbourne. Around 7,000 people gathered at Rod Laver Arena, including Ed Sheeran, Jimmy Barnes and Paul Kelly. Kylie Minogue paid tribute to Mr Gudinski, who died at the age of 68 earlier this month.
The Big G took this little scrawny girl from Melbourne to the world and back home again.
Melbourne's hotel quarantine system's about to be tested again, with the state government expected to announce a resumption of international flights into Melbourne. More from Nine's Brian Wilson.
6 weeks ago, Victoria stopped accepting international passengers after the UK strain of coronavirus escaped from the Holiday Inn quarantine hotel and spread into the community. The quarantine bungle sent the entire state back into lockdown, stranding many Victorians interstate. COVID Quarantine Victoria has since conducted a review of its procedures.
Meantime, the National Breast Cancer Foundation's warned the COVID-19 pandemic has put significant pressure on research funding for other areas. It's released a report card on its goal to achieve 0 deaths from breast cancer by the year 2030. It says a further investment of at least $100 million is required over the next 9 years to boost breast cancer research efforts. Fire crews were called to a blaze at the McGill shopping centre overnight. It broke out in a shed behind a fruit and veg store, damaging both the fruit and veg store and a neighbouring butcher. A climate change protest caused major disruption to peak hour traffic in the city yesterday. More than 100 Extinction Rebellion protesters stopped in major intersections while dancing to the Bee Gees' hit Stayin' Alive. The group's Ben Brooker says the disruption's justified.
We're at a very, very critical point at the moment with the climate crisis, and relying on the old methods of writing to politicians, doing polite rallies at Parliament House, those tactics do not work anymore. So we do have to create that to get the message out that we think is so important.
Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Adelaide is facing the prospect of having to make several changes to its defence ahead of Saturday's clash against Sydney at the SCG. Luke Brown has already been ruled out with an Achilles issue, while Mitch Hinge will also miss with a shoulder injury. And with Daniel Talia still sidelined, the task of stopping the returning Lance Franklin is likely to fall to youngster Jordan Butts. Brodie Smith telling Rowie he'll be ready.
Yeah, he's very quick, Big Butts, and he had a couple of cracks at Charlie Dixon in the pre-season. Clearly the ball was coming in a bit, and we thought he did a really good job, and then obviously to go to Hawkins, he's amazing on the weekend, and now gets a crack at Buddy. So, we're really confident in the way Butts is going.
Two games in the A-League overnight, with Wellington putting its finals hopes back on the agenda after a thumping 4-1 win against a Melbourne Victory, while the points were shared between Perth Glory and Sydney FC in a 1-1 draw. Cameron Smith has been rewarded for his stellar year on the PGA Tour, awarded the Greg Norman Medal as Australia's best golfer. In a good 24 hours for Smith, he's won his opening match at the World Golf Championship Match Play event. Smith finished 1-up against Lanto Griffin. Jason Day lost his first match, though, against Scotty Scheffler. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now the FIVEaa forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Partly cloudy and 21 today, cloudy again tomorrow 24, a possible morning shower Saturday 22 and Sunday partly cloudy 23. At the moment 17. More news as it happens on FIVEaa.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to FIVEaa Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 minutes to 7 after 7 o'clock this morning. Really good announcement yesterday from the Transition Committee, as you've just heard in FIVEaa News. 75% capacity really across the board. Be you a cinema, a hotel, pub, club. The churches will have almost full capacity. We'll have full capacity up to 1,000 people. Masks being a must, though. So we'll do a whip around of those the key industries in South Australia and what their response is to the news after 7 o'clock this morning. But geez, we're getting a lot of feedback on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line early today.
I like this one. Hi boys, Pembo, you need to harden up. 3.5 hours in the car to Robe is just getting dialed in. We used to drive 500 kilometres from Alice to Tennant Creek for a day at the races and then come back that afternoon.
Oh.
Try doing Alice Springs to Adelaide in 14 hours or 3 days from Adelaide to Perth. Point taken. Good on you, Phil. Thanks for that. I was actually thinking of driving to Uluru at some point with the entire family. And I was saying to Kate last night, we go to Port Augusta, night one, stay there, go and see the Aridlands Botanic Gardens the next day. Beautiful desert plants there, which immediately had her rolling her eyes. Oh, that sounds exciting. And then, up to Coober Pedy. It's about 1,400 k's Adelaide to Uluru. That's doable.
Oh, yeah.
With 4 children.
Oh, well, no, it's not. You started out well.
We have got a warped sense of how close things are in this country, haven't we?
Well, you only realise that, and I think you've said this on air before, in your time living in London.
When I drove to Cornwall and back in the day,
Yeah,
I went to a party that night and people thought I was some sort of freak.
Yeah.
Have you seen much of the country since you've been here? Yeah, I went to Cornwall earlier today. I beg your pardon? Yeah, I drove there. What? And everyone was like calling people over to talk to me about it.
Yeah. And it's about 4-hour drive?
It's about driving to Melbourne, yeah.
Yeah. Roger asked the question on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line, did I just hear on your news service that Ed Sheeran was at the Michael Gudinski tribute in Melbourne? How? I mean, a lot of people will have that reaction, but it's been the case. We've had international acts come into the country, have we not? They just need to quarantine.
Yeah, although did he quarantine? Would he have quarantined?
Surely he would have.
Well, how? Because Michael Gudinski died less than a fortnight ago.
No, he got a special exemption, apparently.
Special exemption?
On what
On
grounds,
compassionate grounds?
Compassionate grounds? There would be some of that going on that we're not aware of.
Yeah.
Compassionate grounds, other bits and pieces.
One here, Highwell and Dave, just wanted to let you know that today is Greek Independence Day. 200 years since the Greek people fought for their independence from 400 years of Turkish rule. They used the famous words, freedom or death. One here from Matt and Gawler says, Dave, your description of Extinction Rebellion is right on point. Extinction Rebellion and also the man petitioning to change the name of Golden Gay Times, just as stupid as each other, Matt in Gawler. The Golden Gay Times story. Now, what is the issue with that? So there's a bloke by the name of Brian MC who's launched an online petition for Golden Gay Times to be renamed. He says, as a part of the LGBTQIA plus. What's IA plus? I must be intersex. What's A? And what's plus?
I think plus has always been tacked on the end of being just everything that couldn't fit in all the other letters. But I didn't know
what else is there.
I didn't know what I and A were.
People are in love with, like, shopping trolleys.
I's always been there. Yeah, I don't know. A.
People who identify as,
I'm not sure.
Inanimate objects. Anyway, Brian MC says in relation to the Golden Gay Time ice cream, good ice cream. I love it. The combination of the biscuit and the sort of caramel ice cream. Anyway, I digress. He says, I believe my sexual identity is owned by me, not a brand, and that the outdated meaning no longer applies.
But that's not...
Talk about don't sweat the small stuff.
Look, maybe I've been wrong all these years, but I'm not sure that the gay in Golden Gay Time has at any point referred to someone's sexuality.
No, that's what Streets have said. They said the Golden Gay Time was released in Australia in 1959 when the word gay had not yet been applied to gender preference. The origin of the Gay Time name was and remains related to having a joyous and happy time.
Yeah, it means happy.
How many songs are there out there from the great golden era of musicals that would have the word gay in them?
Absolutely.
That have to be rewritten.
And
what a joke.
That's, yeah.
This is the thing, and this is where I think it's an apt description by Matt, comparing it to the street theatre tactics of Extinction Rebellion, the die-ins and all of that. That, like, homophobia is a disgrace. But if to use the term that Extinction Rebellion use, if this is all about consciousness raising, why do things that largely result in you being held up to ridicule?
I'd be interested to know from anyone that was at the Extinction Rebellion any of the points at which they stopped traffic at 5 p.m, by the way, yesterday too. There was beeping of horns. A lot of beeping of horns can be heard on the TV coverage and bits and pieces I saw on social media. And no one could work out whether it was in support or in anger. I'd love to hear from someone who was at an intersection that maybe was beeping their horn.
Oh, I'm guessing anger.
Yeah. To listen to it, you know an angry horn. And I don't know if the people turned up with a view to... I don't know the motivation. It wasn't...
So was it...
No, it wasn't...
Or was it... Beep, beep, beep,
yeah, it was a bit of that.
Beep.
It wasn't immediately obvious the style, what the intent was. What the meaning.
So a lot of Volvos, not many Monaros is what you're saying.
Yeah, it felt that way. Felt that way. But if you were there...
A lot of Volvos with hands off our ABC stickers on them.
That's right. I think almost exclusively. 8223 0000 is the number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Barker text line or watch along on the 5AA Facebook and YouTube live streams.
One of my neighbours has got her car's totally covered in stickers like that. Hands off our ABC. I've been thinking of getting a large sticker that says Rupert Murdoch, lifelong employee, and sticking it on the back of my Toyota Hilux.
Here's a song that features the word gay.
Why do birds sing so gay? And love was my way to make day. Why do they fall in love?
I guess we'll have to cancel that hateful track, won't we?
Exactly. I mean, you might as well play some Screwdriver. It's terrible.
Police and weather right after this.
Finally, we can crank it back up. Getting there. Almost there. And we're back. Back to the Lion. Get back to cold beers with your mates. Get back to live music by stunning acoustic artists. Get back to a menu filled with all the classics. Get back
to normality. Get back to where you belong. The Lion, North Adelaide.
If you want to feel great about the milk you pour in your tea and coffee, over your cereal or in your smoothie, make sure it's from the Flurio Milk Company. Because it's a great feeling buying from people who love SA as much as you do. 3 words make all the difference. Flurio Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it. Whew, feel like a cuppa now.
Flurio Milk Company, celebrating 15 years of SA business. FlurioMilkco.com.au.
How do you know you're in South Australia? Well, we make a great coffee with Festival Mad. And we have Leader computers. Yep, world-class Leader computers are made and serviced right here in Adelaide. It means everything you need for your business or home computing is local, not overseas, not interstate. So if something does go wrong, there's no runaround. Live life local. Live life Leader. Leader Computers. To find your local dealer, visit leadersystems.com.au.
The new Nissan Navara is the ultimate work vehicle. Built tough with advanced tech to get the job done. Speak to your local Nissan fleet experts today about tailoring a vehicle solution for your business needs.
At FIVEaa, we know you're looking for value. That's why when you combine your new eligible home insurance with your car insurance before May 14, you'll save 20% on the second policy. Double up and save today. Call FIVEaa on 13 50 50 for a quote or visit FIVEaa.com.au. T's and C's apply at FIVEaa.com.au, including full eligibility criteria. FIVEaa is an authorised representative of AAI Limited, the product issuer. Before buying this insurance, read the PDS. Contact us for a copy.
I remember singing along to our York's road trip playlist.
I remember you sounding a bit flat.
Hey, at least the battery didn't go flat because I got a new one from RAA before we left.
Yeah, you hit the right note with that.
Before you make road trip memories, remember RAA for road service, vehicle inspections, tyres, batteries and RAA approved repairers. RAA is your ultimate road trip companion because we help you to keep on moving on. Battery replacement only available to RAA road service holders. T's and C's apply. Available from RAA.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
12 to 7. A lot of Ed Sheeran fans getting in contact with the program, David. Telstra still Mount Barker text line via Twitter and in other places, making the point he was in quarantine.
He was
in quarantine.
So, and he wrote the song in quarantine.
And he wrote a song in quarantine.
I wasn't having a crack. I was just reading out the text originally from Roger, who wanted to know how he got here.
We need to clarify these things. In this day and age, we'll end up with 25 million people on Twitter that are Ed Sheeran fans that will cancel us.
You know, I met Ed Sheeran once.
Did you?
Ed Sheeran? Sheeran. And I had no idea who he was. But the funny thing was, at that point, nobody did. It was in Sydney, and I had to present an award at the Dally M's, which is like the Brownlow night for rugby league. And the people that organised it was at the Fox Studios.
Yeah.
And they said, this guy is going to be big. He started off as a busker. He's a singer-songwriter, performs on his own. And I was like one of the really, really, really early awards, you know. And for most improved regional NRL player, joining us now, the editor of the Daily Telegraph. And I'm there, there's no one in the room. They're all out there, neck and crownies out in the forecourt. And but he was the opening act. And I was talking to him backstage, and I said, "Oh, g'day, mate. What do you do?" He said, "Oh, my name's Ed. I'm from England. I'm a singer." And then I remember years later, I met that guy. He's the world's nicest bloke.
Apparently he is. He was
just so laid back. It was just like you met some mate at uni or something.
One of my good friends who moved from Adelaide to London and was a hockey player here in Adelaide, and she plays over played over in the UK as well. They played against Ed Sheeran's girlfriend's hockey team. So at one point they're like, that bloke in the crowd looks like, they're not big crowds because it's not like international competition.
Yeah.
That looks like Ed Sheeran. It turns out it was Ed Sheeran. And then afterwards they're like, you reckon we can get a photo? And there's all these photos of him and all the girls. He was just sitting there by himself, just like any normal Joe, watching his girlfriend play sport.
Wow.
And they just said, this is the loveliest bloke you could ever meet.
Yeah.
Have we done enough? Senior Constable Matt Brown from SAPOL joins us. Morning to you, Matt.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We're good, thanks, Matt. Tell us about this bloke arrested for torching a car at Westlakes.
Well, police will allege about 3:30am today, witnesses reported seeing a man set fire to a blue Toyota sedan in the car park of a hotel on Bartley Terrace. And the man then ran away from the scene, and the description of the suspect was provided to patrols who located the man nearby. And further checks revealed the Toyota had been stolen from a nearby house during a break-in earlier in the night. So the 31-year-old man of no fixed address will face numerous charges, including arson and going equipped to commit an offence. And investigations continue into the break-in where the car was stolen. And the suspect has been refused bail and will appear in court today.
Good work there.
Good work by patrols out there in the west.
Absolutely.
And also a serious crash at St Mary's last night.
That's right. Bit of an update on this one, guys. Just after 4pm yesterday, police were called to Ayless Road near South Road after reports of a crash between a car and a cyclist. Now, the cyclist, a 67-year-old man from Eden Hills, sustained serious injuries in the crash. He was taken to the Flinders Medical Centre for treatment, where he remains in a serious but stable condition, and his injuries are not considered to be life-threatening. Now, of course, the road was closed for several hours while police investigated the crash, but has since been reopened. We're still appealing for witnesses. Anyone who might have seen the crash is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
And more good news, Matt, in terms of arrests, where police have caught the bikie who assaulted the Good Samaritan.
That's right. Police have arrested wanted suspect Danny Rapley at a Kilburn address. At about 5:15pm on Sunday the 21st of March, a member of the public attempted to intervene in an altercation between a man and a woman. The member of the public was then assaulted and the suspect left the scene on a blue Suzuki motorbike with the woman. The victim, a 49-year-old man from Paralawi, was taken by helicopter to the Royal Adelaide Hospital, where he still remains in a critical condition. Now, the parties were not known to each other. At about 11:30am on Tuesday the 23rd of March, officers arrested the wanted man without incident. And he's been charged and been remanded in custody. And we're still asking for any witnesses or anyone who might have been travelling in the area, if they have any dashcam footage or CCTV of the incident, to please contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Good on you, Matt. Senior Constable Matt Brown from SAPOL. Mark Anelak on duty at the Weather Bureau. Mark, did we get any rain overnight?
Brett here.
Brett. Sorry, Brett.
Yeah.
Brett, did we get any rain overnight?
Brett's and our Mark's confused, Brett. We apologise.
That's all right. We had, yesterday evening, 3 millimetres at Burnside, 3 at Noarlunga. They were the best falls on the plains. And then up in the hills, the highest totals were 8 millimetres at Echunga and Biggs Flat.
Nice. So how does today look?
Yeah, just a slight chance of a shower today. Looking on the radar, we can see some showers mostly on the hills in the northern suburbs at the moment. Just some light showers about today, nothing too much in them. And currently it's 16 degrees, heading for a top of just 21.
Beautiful. Good on you, Brett. Thank you for that. Brett Gage, CU forecaster at the Weather Bureau. A few of our listeners, David, want us to have a listen to this song to see if it's problematic.
We'll have a yabba dabba do time, a dabba do time. We'll have a gay old time.
Oh dear.
Not anymore, you won't.
Oh dear. No, you won't.
Fred and Wilma.
In fact, I think there's a lot of problematic stuff in the Flintstones. A lot of very gender stereotyping. I mean, they keep it...
Oh, what you mean so far as the male characters are portrayed as dopes?
And they're ones working at the quarry.
Yeah,
you've got the ladies at home. And how about they keep a dinosaur on a leash? I'm pretty sure that's not legal.
Yeah, well, better that than a marmot, I guess.
You know,
what was Barney's wife's name? Pebbles. No, that was the daughter.
That was the
daughter.
daughter.
Fred and Wilma's daughter was Pebbles.
And Bam Bam was the son. Who was the
Barney's wife?
Barney Rubble. Betty.
Yeah.
The Rubbles.
That's right.
No more. They've been cancelled.
No, that's right. Banned. Gone the way of Dr. Seuss.
6 minutes to 7.
For over 36 years, Steinborner Certified Cars has always exceeded expectations on value, service and selection, and that continues. That's why it's always well worth a trip to Steinborner Certified Cars in Gawler, Nuriutpa and Clare for great deals on new and demo Hyundai, Ford and Mitsubishis, plus SA's biggest and best range of used cars. Make the trip to one of Steinborner's 8 dealerships or view the whole range of cars now at steinborner.com.au and join the thousands who know. Steinborner Certified Cars. It's well worth the trip.
Eye health on healthy living. Thanks to Specsavers.
Grishma Patel is one of our favourite optometrists with Specsavers.
Glaucoma and macular degeneration, these are some of the more common
diseases that we see in practice that affect the ageing population, but there is a major hereditary factor in play as well. So, for example, with macular degeneration, if you have a direct family history of this, you have a 50% chance of developing the condition yourself.
How can they check if they're prone to one of these conditions?
Having regular eye screening tests is really useful. If you know your family history, that helps. But if you don't know your family history, for example, if you come to Specsavers, we use an OCT eye scanning technology to screen everybody, and it's free, and this helps us to detect these eye conditions sooner.
Specsavers, where every eye test includes an OCT advanced 3D eye scan at no extra charge.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of ready-to-hang roller blinds and 40% off the entire range of ready-to-hang eyelet curtains. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
Save up to 55% off discontinued Beautyrest black mattresses and ensembles now at Harvey Norman. Now's the time to upgrade your mattress and support Australian-made manufacturing. Plus, purchase with 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $500. Minimum finance amount $1,000. Approved applicants only. 60 equal monthly payments. Interest applies if you do not comply with terms and conditions. Fees and exclusions apply. Save up to 55% off discontinued Beautyrest black mattresses and ensembles exclusive to Harvey Norman.
Go! Have you scraped or dented your caravan? Your insurance should cover that, and Walker Crash Repairs will fix it right and on time. Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA-approved crash repairer for caravans and cars.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
3 to 7, we're off to the US shortly. We'll talk about the relaxation of restrictions here in South Australia after 7 o'clock. After 7:30, Matt Abraham will be on the program. We'll dissect the last week in political spin. Lots to talk with Matt about. Really looking forward to that segment as always. And then a little bit later today, we'll try and get a better understanding of why it is that one of the most important trade routes in the world is currently blocked by a 400-metre long cargo ship.
The photos of that are amazing.
That looks like it's failed doing a 3-point turn in the Suez Canal.
Well, it pretty much has.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
They're digging out the edges of the canal.
For the photos that you see, the scale is remarkable when you see the size of the digger that's trying to dig out to get it some space to be able to manoeuvre. It looks like it's a little
dot.
It looks like it's a little toy compared to the ship. The ship's worth is 200,000 tonnes.
It's insane.
All right, let's head to the US. Tim Lester for 7 News joins us. Morning to you, Tim.
G'day, guys.
So, Tim, what's making news over in over stateside at the moment?
Well, I think we're being a bit overshadowed by you guys back at home, frankly. The big news that Australia's been having, the hectic time. But the US has got a couple of things going on at the moment in particular. There's the stuff we were talking about last time, in fact, down on the border. We've heard today with all of these, the new flood of migrants coming across the border, believing that Joe Biden will treat them more humanely than would have been the case under the last administration. Apparently, he's going to put his vice president, Kamala Harris, in charge of fixing the problem. So that will be particularly interesting, and that's taking up a lot of news space. And, of course, the follow-on from the tragic shooting in Colorado, in Boulder, Colorado, is a major story here at the moment, particularly at a couple of levels. One, understanding the motive of the shooter, which they still don't understand. He's been, or accused shooter has been charged. So that's an important part of the story. The other thing is this finally the time that the United States can manage serious gun reform? It's failed so often in the past. Joe Biden is talking it up, but Republicans absolutely are not. So there's still a mountain to climb on that one.
Yeah. And Tim, sad news, after such a brilliant career, I can remember as a young person seeing him in that excellent comedy, The Owl and the Pussycat. George Segal has died.
aged 87, has passed away. Apparently this was complications from bypass surgery. Yes, long career, going back such a long way, but sad news today, 87 years old, and died, in fact died yesterday in Santa Rosa in California. So for all those who've followed his career, they'd know it's gone for a long time, but he's no longer with us.
Yeah, great career.
Good on you, Tim. Good to chat.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, guys.
Tim Lester for 7 News in the US. It's 7 o'clock, 5AA News time. Big announcement yesterday with regard to the relaxation of restrictions in South Australia. We'll talk about it with some of the key industries right after this.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Physio Extra is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. physioextra.com.
And on a roll of entertainers from around the world have paid tribute to music industry legend Michael Gudinski as part of a state memorial in Melbourne last night. Sir Elton John, who toured Australia just before last year's COVID shutdown, spoke fondly of his relationship with him.
I'm so glad that he did my Farewell Yellow Brick Road tour and that I could see his cheery face at the shows backstage. I was honoured to work with him because people like him don't come along very often.
And singer Ed Sheeran choked up as he performed a new song written while he was in quarantine.
I'm extremely grateful to be here. I know it's a difficult thing to get into this country and I don't take it for granted. In lockdown, I was able to have a guitar. You know, I always find the best way to process stuff is to write songs. Here's a song I finished last week.
I wish that heaven had visiting hours.
The coroner will be given a recording of a man's 40-minute phone call with O before he drowned in Sydney's northwest. The 25-year-old was in Glenorrey for his first day at a new job when he became trapped in floodwaters. Detective Inspector Chris Laird says it appears he made every effort to get out.
It could very well be that the electrics totally failed and he was simply unable to escape from the car, which is an absolute tragedy. Also, too, the fact that he was on the phone for so long is even more tragic, and that's going to form part of our inquiries.
Well, a man has died in tragically similar circumstances in Queensland. The body of the 38-year-old has been pulled from a ute which was submerged in a flooded creek in the Gold Coast hinterland. A man has been arrested after allegedly setting fire to a stolen car at Westlake Shore. Senior Constable Matt Brown says witnesses saw him torch the Toyota sedan in the car park of a hotel on Bartley Terrace before running off.
Further checks revealed the Toyota had been stolen from a nearby house during a break-in earlier in the night. So the 31-year-old man of no fixed address will face numerous charges, including arson and going equipped to commit an offence. And investigations continue into the break-in where the car was stolen. And the suspect has been refused bail and will appear in court today.
While fire crews were called to a blaze at the McGill shopping centre overnight, it broke out in a shed behind a fruit and veg store, damaging the shop and a butcher. The cause is unclear. The Prime Minister is expected to unveil a cabinet reshuffle in the coming days after a spate of scandals hit Parliament. Christian Porter will reportedly be shifted from his role as Attorney-General, and Linda Reynolds could be moved from her defence portfolio in the wake of the Brittany Higgins rape allegations. Another $125 million will be spent supporting the arts and entertainment sector as it recovers from the COVID lockdown. The federal government's committed $200 million to helping the industry. Arts Minister Paul Fletcher says it'll be distributed through grants to restart festivals, concerts, tours and other events.
And that's going to support up to 90,000 jobs in the arts and entertainment sectors. So we get more shows back on stage, more performers on stage, more backstage crew hard at work, more front-of-house staff, and lots of great shows that Aussies can go and see and enjoy.
The Queen has welcomed the news of the birth of her 10th great-grandchild, who was delivered on the bathroom floor. Zara Tyndall, the daughter of Princess Anne, gave birth to her son Lucas on Sunday night. Her husband, former England rugby union player Mike Tyndall, has described their son's arrival.
We wouldn't have got to hospital in time. So, yeah, it was run into the gym, get a mat, get into the bathroom, get the mat on the floor, towels down, brace, brace, brace.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide midfielder Connor Rozee believes one more week should be enough for him to return from foot surgery, which he had earlier this month. The 21-year-old missed the opening round and has ruled himself out of Saturday's clash against Essendon. He told Rowie he just wants to make sure it's fully recovered when he does come back.
Yeah, that's probably the one thing that's holding me up a little bit is it's mostly healed, but there's about 10% that's just not quite there. So they're just going to give me that extra week to make sure it's fully healed and not risk anything because that might put me out for a few weeks if it opens up again.
Let's go to tennis. Ash Barty will open her title defence at the Miami Open by going straight into the second round after being gifted a bye. The Masters event was cancelled last year, meaning Barty has held on to the prestigious title since 2019. Barty says she's happy to be back where she's had so much success.
It's a bit strange, it is. It's probably the first of a couple that I'm going to feel this year, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. I think this year for me is all new. It's all an adventure. It's all something I haven't experienced before.
And it's been a good start on the men's side this morning with Alexei Popyrin having a straight sets win against Feliciano Lopez, while James Duckworth's match against Misha Zverev has just gone to a deciding set. And in some soccer news to finish, it's almost half-time in World Cup qualifying action this morning. Portugal 1-0 up against Azerbaijan. Belgium leads Wales 2-1, while France is 1-0 up against the Ukraine. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Dave Potter's Mad March demo clearance is on now with huge savings and factory bonuses across the range.
Churchill Road, Regency Park Roadworks, Freeway down track with the middle lane out Mount Osmond, Morford Road, Diagon Road, Oaklands Park, Cameras, Holbrooks Road, Flinders Park, Main South Road, Halloran Hill and Marlborough Street, Fulham Gardens. Right now, get a Ranger XLS 4x4 auto for just $48,490. Drive away, recommended price. See Ford.com.au for T's and C's. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Partly cloudy and 21 today, cloudy again tomorrow, 24. A possible morning shower Saturday, 22. And partly cloudy on Sunday, 23. At the moment, 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
In the last hour on Adelaide's 5AA.
That stretch of road from Meningie down to Kingston, the whole length of the Coorong is just breathtakingly beautiful.
Yeah, it is spectacular.
But once was enough in one day.
Yeah, you got to take it on both sides of the road.
Yeah, well, there it is again. Hey, look, there it is. There's Policeman's Point again.
No, it's on my left.
Meningie. Yeah.
Extinction Rebellion. Protesters have once again caused havoc in the CBD. The climate activists brought parts of the city to a standstill yesterday afternoon, staging organised flash mobs at busy intersections. It looks like it's a social club. We're watching all the videos of them dancing around beforehand, but the event seems to be the fun part. Oh, we get to dance around and we've choreographed it.
But they're the women who dance on their own at WOMAD. You know, when Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan's getting his sitar out, or there's some throat music from Mongolia and
a lot of problematic stuff in the Flintstones. I mean, they keep it...
Oh, what you mean so far as the male characters are portrayed as dopes?
They keep a dinosaur on a leash. I'm pretty sure that's not legal.
Better that than a marmot, I guess.
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
That's not legal either, dude. 8 after 7, coming up this hour. Looking forward to this.
Out of 10, every time.
Matt Abraham after 7:30, thanks to Mighty Helpful Mitre 10. We'll check in on really fun interview last night Stephen Rowe had with Connor Rozee in about 15 or 20 minutes' time. And also, we've got a lot of texts still coming in from that first hour of the show on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line.
We have a big shout out to Karen, who I presume is still in the car right now after me sharing my story of doing a 660-kilometre round trip yesterday to pick up my injured son Jimbo from school camp at Robe. Karen says, hey guys, we drove to Adelaide Tuesday from Tumby Bay for a medical appointment yesterday. Now we're driving the 7.5 hours back today, listening to 5AA gets us through the trip. You're going to hear plenty of shows today. Karen, you'll hear us, then you'll hear Leon, then you'll hear Pilco. Stick around.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of good stuff.
7.5 hours of programming coming up especially for you.
Gets better from here, Karen. Now, Massive news yesterday from the Transition Committee. New restrictions that will come into play from next Wednesday. Clubs, pubs and restaurants will be allowed 75% capacity. Cinemas and churches, so indoor gatherings have been a sticking point to this point, will now be allowed 100% capacity up to a total of 1,000 people. You have to wear a mask indoors, though. The significant point of this negotiation, it was very much a negotiation on the Transition Committee, is that the Police Commissioner overruled SA Health and said, this is what we're doing. We'll get a sense of how it affects some of the key industries across the state now. And look, if you as a punter or indeed a small business owner or however you might engage in the restrictions, we'd love to hear from you, 8223 0000, or text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. Reverend Dr. Steve Ogden has spoken to us a number of times about the difficulties in holding church services over the last 18 months. Reverend Ogden, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you going?
Yeah, we're well. How are you? Does this make Easter significantly more easy, or does it pose other difficulties?
No, look, it's terrific. I mean, overall, South Australia's had it pretty good, I think. But next week is a big week in our industry. It's Holy Week, so many churches are having special celebrations and events. So Tuesday represents really a turning point for us.
That's good. No more praying on Microsoft Teams.
That's right. No. It's funny, though, how quickly people adapted. I think you guys interviewed when it first came in, and everyone thought this is really weird. Now, after a few weeks, that became the new normal. But this will be a reprieve next Thursday.
Yeah, excellent.
Reverend Ogden, your phone's playing up just slightly. So what we might do is we'll come back to you in a moment, because we do have listeners with questions about masks and how that's going to work. They're probably questions that are pertinent for Deanna Wallace from Wallace Cinemas as well. Deanna, first and foremost, though, how did you welcome yesterday's announcement?
We were very excited for that to come through. It was a big relief for us yesterday. We also heard that some more film product got moved yesterday, and then to get that news in the afternoon was such a relief.
We had you on the show only a couple of weeks ago, Deanna, and you were making the point about how far ahead states like Queensland were. Does this put us on level pegging with the eastern states now?
They still don't have to wear masks, I don't believe. So that is the difference here, but it makes it so exciting for us when we have those big school holiday films like Peter Rabbit and Tom and Jerry, and we have Godzilla versus Kong. So we are starting to see some films come back, so it's perfect timing.
Do you guys hand out masks at all at the cinemas in the event people forget?
We have been. So this entire time when the tipping came in from 50 to 75% capacity in the last restriction, we have had masks on site that we have been handing out to our customers.
Oh, that's good news, Deanna. Thank you for that. Ian Horn from the Australian Hotels Association on the line, and obviously the Hotels Association represents a whole heap of businesses affected in very different ways, pubs to clubs and places that rely on dance floors and other things. Ian, what was your instant reaction to the news out of the Transition Committee?
Oh, it was great. It was great news, Will, and welcome beyond belief. And in fact, it's quite ironic and wonderful, really, that churches and pubs can benefit equally from this decision. But I've got to say that this means that for a hotel or a club or a small bar with a capacity of 100, this means that their peak times they can go to 150. That's a significant increase, and this will go a long way to ensuring continued viability. And it'll start part of that step forward to restore the many thousands of jobs that were lost just on 12 months ago.
I'm not sure if all our phones have been hacked. This might be because of all those stories we kept writing about the Chinese consulate, but something's going on. Sorry about that, Ian. We might jump back to somebody else, Will.
Yeah, let's try to go to Reverend Ogden and see if his phone's working a little bit better. Because, Reverend, we had a number of questions about masks in church and the fact that they're going to be required now. Do you see that posing any issues? Will you provide masks for people?
Look, I think that's a whole set of strategic questions we're going to have to analyse. My hunch is that each denomination will probably do it differently, and each church will do it differently. Most churches, might only have between 50 and 75 people on a Sunday. So I wouldn't be surprised if many of them stuck to the 75% limit, so they have to wear a mask. Once you get to 100% and you've got to wear the mask, that's going to bring in a whole new set of expectations. I think you probably have to supply some level of masks. Some people for that one, really. So,
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if people stuck to 75% in most places.
All right. Well, Reverend Ongar, thank you. We can make out some of that. But again, either there's been a solar flare or there are aliens hovering over Adelaide or there's some more benign and boring explanation. But
is it cloud cover? What is it?
We've had multiple phones not work. Geez, it's dark, isn't it?
It is dark.
It's coming up. It'll be 15 after 7, and right now it looks grim out there. But yeah, I'm not sure what the correlation is with the phones not working. Maybe we just got unlucky a couple of times in a row. In any case, it's good news across the board, and everyone welcomed it. And it sounds as though.
And for both sides of Adelaide's sort of cultural divide as well. I mean, the city of churches, as we are known, but equally a place that's always been quite permissive, a good time city, you know, the first place to introduce al fresco dining, BYO laws, nude bathing. You know, I've always had that tension between the sort of Methodist/Lutheran crowd and the more libertine sort of Don Dunstan set. So everyone's a winner from next Wednesday. If you want to go and pray, or if you just want to go and carry on at the pub, there's something in this for everybody.
15 minutes after 7, let's check traffic thanks to Dave Potter, Australia's #1 Honda dealer, second year running, davepotterhonda.com.au.
Got a couple of smashes on the go, not far from each other. Croydon Park, South Road, Regency Road, and the North-South Motorway at Regency Park. A breakdown also on South Road, Port Road, blocking the left-hand lane for northbound in Hindmarsh. Cameras, Trimmer Parade, Seaton, Warren Avenue, Glenelg North. Style your home with Freedom Homewares. Right now you can get 25% off their entire homewares range, including 25% off rugs, cushions, lighting and more. On now, only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Leon Biner.
You will remember the furor over land tax in 2019 when the state government introduced changes that would group together property owners' land holdings and increase bills and apply a new surcharge to land owned in trusts.
9 till 12 weekdays.
Revenue SA has been sending out bills to people that shouldn't be getting them. How can this push for a major tax increase go ahead when it appears the database is all over the shop?
On 5AA.
As a small to medium business owner, you need a vehicle fleet that is fit for purpose. The new Nissan Navara is the ultimate workhorse, built tough to handle the harshest conditions. Packed with the latest intelligent safety and driving assistance tech, the new Nissan Navara is the ideal addition to your fleet. Let your local Nissan fleet dealer tailor a vehicle solution that's right for you and your business needs. Visit your local Nissan dealer or search Nissan Fleet today.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of ready-to-hang roller blinds and 40% off the entire range of ready-to-hang eyelet curtains. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
Save up to 55% off discontinued Beautyrest Black mattresses and ensembles now at Harvey Norman. Now's the time to upgrade your mattress and support Australian-made manufacturing. Plus, purchase with 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $500. Minimum finance amount $1,000. Approved applicants only. 60 equal monthly payments. Interest applies if you do not comply with terms and conditions. Fees and exclusions apply. Save up to 55% off discontinued Beautyrest Black mattresses and ensembles exclusive to Harvey Norman.
Go!
When people walk through the doors at Pals, the first thing they say is wow. Not only because of the size and the selection, but also because of the team. Sam and Jamie have tasted every drop. They and their team can recommend a whiskey that's just as good as that hard-to-find Japanese one, if they don't have it, that is. Or a beautiful red that's reminiscent of that outstanding cellar door you once travelled so far to visit. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Hi, I'm Rose from Dentist Direct SA. Our clinics at Prospect, Glynde, Salisbury and Ascot Park are now open, along with our many country locations. We also offer individual appointments in your own home or aged care facility, assuring you of Paul's quality one-on-one personal service. For new, full or partial dentures, or if you have any denture concerns, contact Dentist Direct SA for an appointment today on 1800 718 450. That's 1800 718 450.
Now, there's quite a few stages in life, but it's not until you get to the 19th that things really become about you. Welcome to the 19th at West, a long-awaited home and land collection offering uninterrupted views across the manicured fairways of the Grange Golf Club and the tree-lined Linear Park walking trails.
That's right. Act now and secure your pre-launch viewing of this premium home and land release. Choose from a curated selection of fixed-priced, Torrens-titled packages, each meticulously designed to make the most of this fantastic location.
This is a rare opportunity to live a luxury lifestyle in your own architecturally designed home by Williams Burton Leopardi. It's an unrepeatable opportunity, so make sure you are a part of it. Visit the 19thwest.com.au.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
20 minutes after 7, after 8:30 this morning, we're going to speak with an expert in merchant shipping because the flow-on effects of the Suez Canal blockage are going to be large. The canal blocked not through some natural phenomenon or disaster, but rather through human error. The captain of the ship stuck. It's called the Ever Given. It's 400 metres long. Somehow it looks like it's been wedged, miscalculating the worst three-point turn in human history. So there's this giant ship that literally spans the width of the Suez Canal, preventing every ship from getting through at this point in time. Now, to get it through, they're having to refloat it and dig out parts of the canal. But in the meantime, the main body of water that connects Asia with Europe and the Middle East is blocked. It's stuck. So we're asking you for the $100 Wohlers gift card this morning. When have you been stuck? When have you been stuck? 822300. You were stuck in a lift recently, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. That was at the museum.
Oh, that's right.
I spoke to them since they were very nice. They followed that up. I hope my dad's not awake. Dad did a similar thing to this ship's captain in Qualtella Place one night, which is where the old Aqaba steak cellar used to be.
Right.
The little road where Pancake Kitchen is, down the side of Hindley Street there. We'd had dinner at the Aqaba steak cellar. Geez, I missed that place. And in our old green Kingswood station wagon, Dad tried to do a three-point turn, and he reversed and hit the window of, I think it was called John's Period Furniture, and he reversed into the window and broke it.
Oh, well, that's one way of creating space.
The whole furniture store was open on account of our Kingswood hitting the window.
Oh, no.
And Dad walked down to the Hindley Street cops and said, "Oh, whoops-a-daisy, this has happened." And the cop, this is like 1976 or something, the cop said, "Mate, you're right. What'd you come and tell us for? Most people just drive off."
$100 Wohlers gift card if you can tell us the time that you have been stuck. 822300 or text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line. We'll get to some calls in a moment. First, Mark has called in with a bit of a traffic info for us. Mark, what have you seen?
Yeah, it's actually preying on the new motorway going southbound at Gudinski Park. It's actually blocked. The police are actually diverting people back off the motorway back onto the ramp at Grand Junction Road.
Okay.
Yeah, right. It's always
that's going to be nasty.
It's never good there at the moment
Mark,
with all the roadworks going on.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. And appreciate all your calls on traffic-related matters on 82230000. Sue in Mylor has called in for the Wohlers. Sue, when have you been stuck?
A few years ago, a friend of mine and I picked up a rescue pony from way out the other side of Adelaide, and we got to the Jeps Cross intersection, and he went berserk in the stock trailer, not a horse float. She couldn't get the car into gear, and he went nuts, and we were stuck in the middle of Jeps Cross intersection, leaning over the side of the stock trailer, trying to cut the rope that he'd got jammed his foot over. There was cars in all directions. It was peak hour traffic, and we weren't getting much sympathy from anybody.
Oh, no. What do you mean a rescue pony, Sue? What had it been rescued from?
Well, there used to be a horse sanctuary, Gawler Horse Sanctuary, the other side of Adelaide.
Yeah, right.
We went out there and liked him, so we put him. We didn't have a float, so we just had a stock trailer. He panicked because my friend couldn't get the car into gear at the intersection, and we stopped. And we couldn't move.
Oh, no.
Oh, what a disaster. Sue, thank you. Margaret's also called in. When were you stuck, Margaret?
I was stuck on the Golden Way at Greenwith. I have a car with a sunroof, which is always open in summer. and I'm driving merrily along there probably listening to you, and a bird flew through the sunroof. So I had to quickly pull over to the side of the road and try and work out how to get this bird, I think it was a minor bird.
A bird flew through your sunroof of your car, Margaret.
What a nightmare. On the Golden Way. Margaret, your phone too is unfortunately caught in the Bermuda Triangle this morning, but thank you.
Good text from Will in Goodwood. He says, hey guys, I was stuck in a lift for 4 hours in Melbourne once, and no Cornsey did not rescue us.
Oh, well, he was busy probably affecting other rescues across the world.
He was having an off day.
Merle, good morning.
Good morning. I'm letting you know that in 1947, I was stuck on the old GAN at the place called Fink.
Fink? How'd you get stuck?
Yeah, it was floods.
Oh.
And the rail was up in front of us and the rail was up behind us, and we were stuck there for a week.
A week?
Yeah.
Wow, Mel. You must have just been a little toddler at the time.
Oh, I was about 10.
Wow.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Who were you there with your folks?
It was the old steam GAN.
Oh, wow. And where were you stuck? What was the place called?
The Fink.
Oh.
The Fink.
It was the Fink River got flooded.
Well, it sounds like you got to know it fairly well over the next week. Merle, that's a great entry. Thank you. We'll take one more for now. Diane in Paralawi, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I've got a story. A few years ago, my daughter and I went to Sydney. It was one of her first trips away. And when we were checking out, we had the days before we could get our flight. So we asked if we could save our baggage in a closet, in the baggage closet the hotels have. And it was very busy. People were opening and closing it. And someone must have accidentally pressed the lock button. And my daughter and I were stuck in this little baggage closet.
Oh, no.
For about 3/4 of an hour.
Oh, no.
They had to get a locksmith, and they ended up unscrewing the vents off the bottom of the door because I was getting a bit claustrophobic.
Oh, God.
My daughter thought it was wonderful.
Yeah, great story, Diane. Thank you.
Excellent.
We're getting so many calls. What we might do is revisit the Wollers over the course of the morning. We'll talk more about the Suez Canal after 8:30 this morning. But if you've been stuck, let us know. 8223 0000. Stephen Rowe had a great interview last night with one of the rising stars of, not just the Port Adelaide Football Club, but the AFL, Connor Rozee. Thanks to North Point Toyota's used vehicle stock. They're constantly changing. Pop in and take a look. It's the North Point way. He dropped some news about his return. Unlikely this week. And they also talked about what he likes to do away from football.
Seen a couple of, I don't know whether they're tweets or Instagrams. You're getting a bit of gaming going on your lounge with your foot up. You're getting that big gyro stick back out and giving it a belting.
Always, Rowie. I've got it back out. Since I've had to put the feet up for a couple of weeks, I've been putting in a bit of work.
Are you any good at it?
Oh, of course, mate, of course.
How good? Does anyone beat you at the club? You're the best.
No one at the club at the moment has got me in FIFA, so that's my claim to fame.
Stop it. You're gifted.
FIFA's my game.
Can you make any money out of that, or
I hope so. I might be going with that.
Fantastic.
Hey, he's doing okay, though.
Yeah.
Who's in your team, Connor? Your FIFA team?
I'm a Liverpool man, so I've got a few of my Liverpool boys in there.
When did you jump on Liverpool? Last year?
I've been on them since about 1 year ago. I've been on for about 10 years.
You're a ripper.
Amazing how big sports gaming is amongst this generation of footballers now. It is.
Kids do it all the time. Like, you know, kids' birthday parties, like, I'm going to buy a pack of players for FIFA and... You know, they have little drafts and everything else. You can get gold cards and red cards. And
it is in and of itself now, an e-sport. We talked about this. This used to be something that existed in theory, but there are tournaments now and things worth millions of dollars. It's huge.
Yeah, you can actually make a living doing it.
The playing of the game about a sport is in and of itself a sport now, which is just remarkable. It's a very competitive world, and the guys in football teams who obviously love just competing in anything all the time.
Plus, you got downtime too.
That's right. You've got a lot of downtime,
Yeah.
and you're all living together, and you can do do things like that. 29 minutes after 7. It was a really terrific interview. You always get a great insight with Stephen Rowe when he catches up with everyone. And as I say, did drop a little bit of selection news in that discussion as well.
When's Orazio making his debut with us?
Tomorrow morning.
Excellent.
The all-new hybrid Kluger's coming to North Point Toyota. Register your interest today. It is the North Point way.
Wakey, wakey! It's savings time at Dreamland.
That's right. Wake up and get into Dreamland and save up to 50% off in Dreamland's Wake Up Sale. You'll get up to 50% off Sealy Posturepedic, Sleepmaker, Sleep Haven, Restopedic and exclusive Utopia mattresses. And for this month only, get Sleepmaker Claire Queen Pocket Spring mattresses for half price. That's only $999 for the queen size. Plus get great deals on all beds and bedroom furniture. All in Dreamland's Wake Up Sale.
So wake up and come to Dreamland.
Dreamland.
Can't hear all that now, can you? That's because this home has a Jolong double-glazed window and door system featuring high-performance sound insulation and heat resistance. That's not all Jolong can do for you. They can also help design your home with the light luxury and elegance you desire. And Jolong is on this journey with you for life, with lifetime service. Visit jolong.com.au.
Now, if you're thinking DIY around the home or garden, it's always nice to get some help, and you'll find all the help, advice, tools and materials you need at your local Mitre 10.
Have a talk to the team in store about what you're planning and they'll set you up with all the gear you need. Mitre 10 have all the quality brands too and at great prices.
And you might be doing some gardening. It's a good time to get your brassicas in. Will was only saying that to me earlier this morning. With Easter next weekend, if you're planning to spend some relaxing time at home with friends and family, use this weekend to get everything looking ship-shape outside and in with help from your local Mitre 10. Or if you want to get stuck into a DIY project over Easter, they've got everything you need along with great advice.
You can shop online, use their click and collect option and just go and pick up your goods when they're ready, and most stores have local delivery options as well.
That's mighty helpful Mitre 10, quality brands at great prices.
Some funding schemes take weeks to apply for, making you jump through hoops and hurdles and then supply you with an interstate device. Skip all of that and choose Care Alert for your product and service. If you're waiting for your My Aged Care funding, then you can now rent a monitored Care Alert smart dialer delivered to you within days to protect you 24/7, and it will cost you less than the price of a cup of coffee per week. Choose local, choose the best, choose Care Alert. Call 1300 75 85 95.
Get your hot cross buns ready and get your woolies worth for Easter with 6 to 9 pack hot cross bun varieties. Any 2 for $6. Save $1. Excludes brioche buns.
That's why I pick Woolies. Want to get out and do something new? Well, have you seen the supercars at the Ben Motorsport Park? Only an hour up the freeway, this international award-winning facility comes alive with 3 supercars races, carnival rides, karting, live music, regional market stalls and more. What are you waiting for? Tickets start from only $20 and kids 15 and under are free. The OTR Super Sprint is the 7th to the 9th of May at the Ben Motorsport Park. Tickets on sale now at theben.com.au.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of ready-to-hang roller blinds and 40% off the entire range of ready-to-hang eyelet curtains. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Bretig.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
Music icons Kylie Minogue and Ed Sheeran have performed at the State Memorial for Australian music industry figure Michael Gudinski in Melbourne. More from Nine's Brian Wilson.
The first concert at Melbourne's Rod Laver Arena in more than a year was a fitting tribute to the man known as the godfather of the Australian music industry, Michael Gudinski. Aussie rocker Jimmy Barnes was joined on stage by Kylie Minogue, Paul Kelly, Ed Sheeran and a cast of performers and celebrities. As well as the rock and roll and music, entertainers from around the world shared their stories, memories and special moments.
He was one of a kind. We don't have to say that. Everybody knows that.
He took this little scrawny girl from Melbourne to the world.
Residents of flood zones are being warned not to risk driving through waters as an investigation begins into the death of a man in Sydney's northwest. He drowned after becoming trapped in his car. Deputy Premier John Barilaro says it's a sad reminder of the peril that exists.
Yeah, tragic news, and of course, for the family of the individual, this is going to be news that's going to rock throughout that family, their friends, and that community. And it is a stark reminder about how dangerous these floodwaters are.
In the Gold Coast hinterland, a body has been found inside an overturned ute. Police have confirmed it's that of a 38-year-old man who's been missing since Monday. A man has been arrested accused of torching a stolen car in a hotel car park at Westlake Shore. The Toyota sedan had been stolen from a local house during a break-in earlier during the night. A 31-year-old man will face charges of arson and going equipped. He'll appear in court later today. Extinction Rebellion protesters have once again caused havoc in the CBD. The climate activists bringing parts of the city to a standstill yesterday afternoon, staging organised flash mobs at busy intersections. The group's Ben Brooker says they want action.
There's obviously a range of views in the community about what we do. What we find is that even people who may feel temporarily annoyed by what we do will go away and think about it. And it's also surprising how often actually people come up to us in the street while we're doing these kinds of actions and thank us for what we're doing.
A new double mutant strain of COVID-19 has been detected in India. Health officials are investigating if the variant's more infectious or less affected by vaccines. Meantime, the European Commission has put forward plans to toughen control on the export of vaccines made in the EU. The Queen has another great-grandchild after Zara Tindall gave birth to a baby boy. Lucas Tindall was born on the bathroom floor because they didn't have enough time to get to hospital. The Queen says she's delighted to welcome her 10th great-grandchild and is looking forward to meeting him when the circumstances allow. Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide young gun Connor Rozee has ruled himself out of Saturday's clash against Essendon, saying he needs one more week to recover from a foot injury. Carlton, meantime, will welcome back Zach Williams and Jack Martin for tonight's clash against Collingwood. Veteran forward Eddie Betts will miss another week. The Magpies will have experienced on-baller still side-bottom available following a calf complaint, while Callum Brown will also return in place of drop pair Oliver Henry and Trey Rusco. To golf, and Cameron Smith has been rewarded for his stellar year on the PGA Tour, awarded the Greg Norman Medal as Australia's best golfer. The Shark told Smith he was receiving the award via a Zoom call.
It wasn't too hard a decision for me to give the nod to you, and I'm just proud of it for you, and I just hope you're just as proud as how I feel for you.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, that's epic. I got nothing else to say. I mean, I'm speechless. I had no idea this is going on.
Yeah, good stuff. Wellington Phoenix has beaten Melbourne Victory 4-1 in their A-League clash last night. The Victory sit at the bottom of the ladder with 12 games and 9 losses for a total of just 7 points. Coach Grant Brebner says he'll address the individual mistakes that are costing them.
Yes, we played well. But, we've got, as I've said in previous weeks, individual mistakes are costing us really dearly.
One other game last night, Perth and Sydney playing out a 1-1 draw. Meantime, disgraced former FIFA president Sepp Blatter has been handed a new ban from football until 2028 for various violations of FIFA's Code of Ethics. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now checking FIVEaa traffic.
Dave Potter, Australia's #1 Honda dealer, second year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
A few things happening north of the city at the moment, including Regency Park, a 2-car smash on the north-south motorway citybound, a breakdown South Road, Port Road, block in the left-hand lane for northbound Hindmarsh, Churchill Road, Regency Road, delays for citybound due to roadworks for outbound, that's in Regency Park, and freeway downtrack middle lane closed for the ongoing roadworks bound Osborne. Need new tyres fast? Bow from Bow Repairs has you covered. Get fixed in 30 minutes or get a free tyre. Visit bowrepairs.com.au. Select the stores only. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEaa.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Partly cloudy and 21 today, cloudy again tomorrow, 24. A possible morning shower Saturday, 22. And partly cloudy for Sunday, 23. At the moment, 17. More news as it happens on FIVEaa.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
21 minutes to 8. John Blake before 8 o'clock, breaking at 8 just after. And right now, thanks to Mighty Helpful Mitre 10, quality brands at great prices for all your DIY needs. It's Matt Abraham. Morning to you, Matt.
Morning, gentlemen. Will, David.
Good to see you, Matt, as always. Are you excited about Easter now?
Yeah, well, always excited about Easter. We bought the chocky Easter eggs yesterday at Woolies. But no, I'm not taking any credit for the fact that the restrictions have been lifted on churches, even though I wrote my Sunday Mail column about it on the weekend.
I think you're hiding a light under a bushel there, man. You've been going on about this for weeks.
The pressure was brought to bear and they just couldn't take it anymore.
However, I mean, the AHA, the hotels have had Ian Horn and, you know, the churches needed a voice and they found it in you.
Even though I've been banned for 6 Easters now by the Catholic Church, by the Archbishop, former Archbishop, whose lawyers sent me a letter banning them from having any contact with me. They didn't like the questions I was asking.
Media management's never been their strong suit, has it?
Just a bit. It's a bit strange. I don't know how you ban a practicing Catholic from having any contact with the Catholic Church. None of the priests seem to have taken the lawyer's letter up with alacrity.
I would have thought forgiveness is a big part of the message too, isn't it?
Certainly after Easter. It arrived the day after Easter that year. I'm over it, really, actually. Yeah. No, this is the thing about the churches, and I was trying to listen to Reverend Ogden and got every second.
So was everybody else.
Yeah. It's not clear, and I did look up the flag regulations. They haven't promulgated the official regulations, but up on the COVID-19 state government site. And it would appear that if you get to 100% or over 75% capacity, then and up to 100% capacity in a church, you would have to wear a mask. Everyone would have to wear a mask. And I'm not going to wear a mask during Easter Vigil Mass, so I probably won't go if that's what you have to do. And I've had to book online. And, you know, it's like, to me, it's an abomination having to do this, but.
So you go to the Eventbrite?
Eventbrite. So it's like...
Hasn't that become part of our lives? I've used that to go to school plays, speech nights.
It's weird.
A band event in December, had to go to Eventbrite for that.
Yeah.
What do you select? Best available pew? Or, know, they have price brackets?
You get the pulpit seats.
Yeah.
Somebody said the choir loft.
Up by the organ.
It's great, yeah. You can almost reach out and touch the Cossack. Yeah. Best seats in the house.
It is... You know, I know we bang on and this new normal thing, but these are things you adjust to in your head after a lifetime of just sort of going to mass. Or, you know, as you said, you might be going to see a band or whatever, and then suddenly I have to book. Even though you don't have to pay, you just sort of book through Eventbrite. And you get tickets with barcodes on them, and it's like, what, do I take them with me to mass?
And if there's a spillover, what do you do? Do you end up standing in the car park watching it on the big screen and it's a PowerPoint demonstration or something?
Well, I don't know. Depends if, you know, a lot of churches depends on where the church is, but they do have outdoor space.
Would your church normally, for an Easter Saturday Mass, be 100%?
Easter, they hang it there. Easter Saturday and the Good Friday 3 o'clock service, they're hanging from the rafters.
Yeah.
You know, it's absolute packed in. Now, if that's packed in and you've got everybody wearing a mask for a service that goes for 90 minutes, I just reckon there'll be people dropping like flies. if you look at the average age profile of your average churchgoer, I'm one of the young ones. I usually drop the profile by about 20 years when I walk into church. So, but anyway, we mustn't quibble because they are obviously easing this up, and I think there's a fair bit of fear and loathing by state governments, and it doesn't appear to be by the Commonwealth government, that JobSeeker ends in about a week's time. And Treasury estimates are that something like, when JobKeeper ends, something like 150,000 jobs, people will lose their jobs. They're not that worried about that because they say the economy will pick up. But I would think if they were one of the 150,000 people who are going to lose their jobs when JobKeeper ends, they might be worried.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a massive uptick in inquiries to mortgage brokers and others for people wanting to move the mortgage or have it put off. There's a demonstrable concern about what's going to happen in the next month for people.
And I think that really is certainly driving. The big hit will be in the entertainment / hospitality sector. That's the most vulnerable. And I think that's what's driving Commissioner Grant Stevens, who has acted against SA Health advice. I think SA Health's preferred position is that we all stay at home permanently. But everyone.
Well, staying at home
forever.
Staying at home permanently is a really good way to avoid anything bad ever happening to you.
It is.
But that's what they're paid to do. That's medical advice. If you ask your doctor to run the rule over every decision you made in life, you might find that they would recommend a whole host of things you shouldn't be doing.
We were using the Rockford cheese example earlier.
You better run that by me, sorry.
For middle-class chaps like me who really like to live on the edge.
Yeah.
Unpasteurised French cheese.
Your doctor may suggest it's not a great move. In fact, they may even suggest you don't have it at all.
That's right.
But you've done a Grant Stevens, as we're calling it now.
Exactly. I've done a Grant.
Doing a Grant.
Well, it's like eating eggs.
Doing a Grant.
Uncooked eggs.
So when you say to your doctor...
In salad dressings and things like that. There's a lot of people in health who would say you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Shouldn't eat steak tartare. Have you ever eaten steak tartare? One of the great dishes.
Well, I grew up, my dad was Lebanese, so it was...
you would have had kibbe. Oh, yeah. Kibbe naya, the raw lamb dish. That's superb. No,
we used to wait for Dad to cook it with the pine nuts.
Oh, no, it's good raw.
Couldn't come with the raw.
Oh, no, with the cos lettuce leaves and the lemon juice.
Thank you.
What do you make...
Anyway, sorry. Why do we always end up talking about food?
Because
that's my fault.
It's like 1 degree of separation with David Penberthy. Like any issue is a food issue. The politics and the messaging of that, I think, are fascinating. Insofar as it's the police commissioner pushing back against the health body to talk about the economic impacts of decisions that are being made.
It is. That is a good point. You do have to remind yourself this guy's a cop.
Yeah.
Like this was not part of his brief. But I think it does show what good administrators, like the people like Grant Stevens, running a big police force. They are really well trained. They're smart people. They're not just the sort of plods who you're dragging off the street. They are very capable, highly capable administrators, and they're decisive, generally decisive people, which I think it's fair to say health bureaucrats are not. And politicians are often not, because they're weighing up a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But it is worth keeping in mind. This is a decision being made by a police commissioner, and it is a decision, as you said, being made not just on health grounds, but really, and this is what's overriding this, on I think social grounds. In fact, that you need to just keep lifting these things off, but also on economic grounds. These are economic decisions that are being made. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's not just he's decided he wants everyone to have a good Easter.
Speaking of big economic decisions that are being made, could you spend more money to be less enthusiastic about two major projects than a near $1 billion for a hydrogen power plant and an arena that's slightly bigger than the entertainment centre?
Yes. No, I couldn't. This is what governments feel they have to do now, and opposition. So you've got the government announcing an arena. We don't have the costing of it. The advertisers put the costing. They're told around $700 million. The government hasn't put the costing. And the government says that they're going to get money back from selling the entertainment centre because there's not a lot of vacant land down there. The brewery, the empty ES Wig station is like basically the whole length of... no one remembers it as Port Road. We all say the road where the Coke factory is, and the empty Coke factory, plus other empty buildings along there. Like there is a little bit of empty real estate. So I hope the government's not in a hurry to sell what is the entertainment centre. So that's going to be for the arena, as it's called. Not allowed to call it a stadium. I don't really. Anyway, whatever. He wants to have a stadium, we'll get one, or an arena. And then you've got Peter Malinauskas with his hydrogen power plant proposal. Really, only a few days after saying that, there's Stephen Marshall, he's announcing an arena, but we, the Labor Party, are going to concentrate on effectively local issues like jobs and so on. And then he drops his big project, which is a hydrogen power station, which is going to soak up, apparently one of the things it's going to do is soak up power from solar panels. We've got too many solar panels in South Australia. They basically started switching them off when it overloads the grid. So I find it a very It is a very strange thing. And if you look at...
You seem to be saying, Matt, that the political desire to win hearts and minds with a genuinely exciting project is still wide open for both sides of politics.
Have you met anyone who's
They've blown it now because you're not going to be able to get... the price of these things is not going to be able to come up with something else. Another big one. They can't just keep announcing one a week, putting it on... Well, maybe they will. I don't know.
But have you met anyone who is A, super excited about the state government arena proposal, or B, able to explain what the hydrogen plant proposal is?
No.
They seem to be the hallmarks.
Peter Malinauskas and Stephen Marshall.
Yeah.
Well,
I met both of them.
Well, they're pretty excited about it. Neither of these are costed, by the way. Peter Malinauskas hasn't said how he's going to fund a government-owned, built, operated and owned power station. He hasn't said.
Yeah.
But I suppose no one worries anymore. You'll just rack up debt or somehow throw it on the credit card.
That's the part of it that worries me the most. It's like the old American political gag about the scariest sentence in the English language is, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. Like, yeah, we can do that.
I know.
A lot of things governments aren't very good at doing.
11 to 8. It's time for this.
5 to 10 out of 10 every time.
And Matt, today's example, or today's moment for examination comes from federal politics.
It does.
Women who have put up with this rubbish and this crap for their entire lives. Criticise me, if you like, for speaking about my daughters, but they are the centre of my life. My wife is the centre of my life. My mother, my widowed mother, is the centre of my life. They motivate me every day on this issue. I say to you girls, I will not let you down.
Get the Kleenex out on this one. Now, I don't like politicians crying because I often think they're crying for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of spin, there are two key things to listen here. One is criticise me if you like. In other words, don't criticise me.
Mm-hmm.
Criticise me if you like, but my children are my daughters and my wife and my mother are central to my life. The other key aspect is my mother, my widowed mother.
Oh, yeah.
I'm giving ScoMo 1 out of 10.
5 to 10 out of 10 every time.
Yeah, I was trying to work out what his widowed mother had to do with the fact that some demented Liberal staffer was getting down and dirty with an office desk.
It is so weird.
Yeah, the whole thing was bizarre, wasn't it?
It certainly is.
I'm with you on the crying. I'm with you on the crying, though, mate. Just Tony ever once said, you don't want to see your publicly elected officials emoting. You want to see them coming up with practical solutions, and that was the problem with that presser.
Oh, yeah.
All emoting, nothing by the way of change.
And then he threatens journos, just watch it. You just be careful here, because I know stuff about what's going on.
Extraordinary.
That worked well
with your employer, which wasn't going on. And I had to apologise, 11 o'clock at night. Like, it's
disaster.
Really bad week for them.
Yeah.
Good on you, Matt.
Cheers, Matt.
Mighty helpful, 1 to 10. Quality brands at great prices for all your DIY needs. Let's check traffic thanks to Dave Potter. Their Mad Much demo clearance is on now with huge savings and factory bonuses across the range.
Got a smash up in Wingfield at the moment at the north-south motorway near Grand Junction Road. Grand Junction Road's also suffering as a result of that. South Road 2 is copping it for northbound just near Anzac Highway and the freeway down track through Mount Osman. Those works are slowing traffic. Want to get Foxtel so you don't miss a minute of the action? Get every game with the NRL and AFL Premiership seasons with no ad breaks during play. Search Foxtel or call 131787. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the team at Lynn Andrews Real Estate have made it easy to manage residential and commercial property. Whether you own a single residential home or multiple commercial properties, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge to share. How to invest safely and properly. Matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com
Fresh nuts, mouth-watering chocolates and eye-popping Easter gifts. G'day, I'm Brett Charlesworth and there are 3 irresistible reasons to include Charlesworth nuts on your Easter shopping list. If you're a connoisseur looking for the absolute best and freshest nuts and can taste the difference, then give us a try. Share them with your guests or give a Charlesworth Easter gift and watch their eyes light up. 11 family-owned South Aussie stores or shop online right now and get it delivered. Why Charlesworth? Because fresh nuts taste better.
I don't really like talking on radio, but I do like talking about our cows at the FIVEaa Milk Company. And I love helping support SA dairy farmers. They're a great bunch with beautiful families. They work day and night to produce the best milk in SA. So when you're in the supermarket, look for FIVEaa Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it. I'm getting good at this.
FIVEaa Milk Company, celebrating 15 years of SA business. FIVEaamilkco.com.au.
G'day to warm nights. G'day to the great outback. G'day to seaside escapes. G'day to the open road. There's no better time to hit the road with over 40 holiday parks in South Australia and over 280 Australia-wide. G'day Parks has the greatest choice of holiday parks in the greatest destinations. Plan and book your next trip at g'dayparks.com.au and say g'day to more of Australia.
We can move the world for you. Camerons can do. Camerons.
For over 45 years, Cameron's can-do attitude has seen it weather many challenges, including a pandemic of major proportions. Now in 2021, Cameron's is ready to meet the challenge of managing our clients' logistics around the nation and help drive Australia's economic recovery. What can Cameron's do for you? Camerons.com.au.
We can move the world for you. Camerons can do. Camerons.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
5 to 8, John Blake in just a moment. We've got something special for the live stream coming up as well after 8 o'clock, so get yourself near a device.
It's a new segment we like to call Will's Magic Tricks.
No, it's not. It's much better than that. 5 to 8, let's talk weather. Chelsea Carey from 9 News is on the line. Sounded vaguely ominous, actually. Morning to you, Chelsea.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, we are doing well, Chelsea. Hey, can I totally put you on the spot? Thinking ahead to the Easter long weekend, I saw that next Wednesday it's going to be 29 and sunny. Is there any sort of speculation beyond that yet about how Easter's looking? Because if it's 29 and it's 26, I think Wednesday, or 26 Tuesday, 29 Wednesday or something.
It's looking absolutely glorious in the lead up to it. I mean, the forecasters do get a little bit worried about forecasting past 7 days, but past 10 days we're really just guessing.
Yeah.
But it does look all right in the lead up at the moment, maybe Thursday, Friday. Can't quite say what it's going to be for the weekend, but just on how I'm feeling like it's going to be good.
That's good.
We'll take that.
We'll run with that.
We're happy with that. Hey, how are you feeling about today and the next couple of days?
Yeah, really good. I mean, it was just great to see some rain last night. Across the plains, Noarlunga and Burnside really did the best, picking up about 3 millimetres. Of course, we saw a little more in the hills, so 6 mils at Macclesfield, about 8 millimetres at Echunga. Now, today there are still a few light showers around, and I just had a look at the radar. You can see a few showers moving through the northern suburbs at the moment, but there's not a whole lot in these. The main event was last night. And temperature-wise, it's quite mild, sitting on around 17 degrees in the city at the moment, but we're only heading for a top of 21 degrees. So whatever you're wearing at the moment is probably going to be fine for the whole day. Tomorrow, some cloud around, a slight chance of a shower, 24 degrees. Saturday, a possible morning shower, only a couple of millimetres or so up for grabs. Then the showers clear off for the weekend, staying on the cool side, top temperatures around 22, 23 degrees. And then, guys, we're into that warm stretch. So, sunny and 29 degrees on Wednesday, and that just sounds amazing.
Absolutely,
Good on you, Chelsea.
Bring it
Thank
on.
you for that. Chelsea Carey from 9 News with a look ahead, both in the near and long-term weather-wise. Right now, it is time for John Blake, thanks to the wonderful people at Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
If anyone in this room wants to offer up the standards in their own workplaces by comparison, I'd invite them to do so.
Well, they're better than these, Prime Minister.
Well, let me take you up on that. I don't think you have any right to talk, Andrew, when right now you'd be aware, in your own company, there's an inquiry into inappropriate behaviour.
No, there isn't.
So let's not all of us sitting in glass houses here get into all of that.
Prime Minister, you feel responsible for what's happened?
Well, look, before you go throwing out accusations of wrongdoing, how about looking at your own company? Your own company, where you know perfectly well, Jeff, there's an investigation into the kidnapping of a staff member and a ransom note being sent out to his parents.
No, there isn't. Prime Minister, how did all this go on for so long without you finding out about it?
Well, look, I can't be everywhere at once, and for you, Tony, to fire off that sort of question as if it's an unusual thing that's gone on. You know perfectly well that at your company there was an incident in the boardroom where a member of the board used a cattle prod to motivate other board members.
No, they didn't.
Mr Morrison, do you take responsibility for what's happened?
Well, Sarah, I think that's a fairly unfair question for you to ask when you know that at your company the HR department had a picnic and hired an acrobat to fire ping pong balls at the guests, and she used a firing mechanism that was highly unusual to say the least.
No, they didn't.
Prime Minister, will you be continuing investigations into what happened?
Well, look, before you start screaming about investigations, David, how about looking in your own backyard? Because at your company, as you know, they had that incident at a staff meeting when all staff were put to sleep for 24 hours using propofol gas.
No, they weren't.
Any more questions? Good, well, I'll be off then. Before I go, though, I want to apologise for making stuff up, but I was under enormous pressure.
Do you think that's a valid reason for making up accusations, Prime Minister?
Well, with all due respect, Steve, you know perfectly well that last week you hijacked an oil tanker in the Suez Canal.
No, I didn't.
Well, look.
More from John Blake after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors.
The 19th West, a premium home and land collection with front row views of the Grange Golf Club's manicured fairways and the tree-lined linear park walking trails. Secure your pre-launch appointment today. Visit the19thwest.com.au.
Know what's kick-ass? Getting out there and exploring the great outdoors. And the right gear can make it really kick-ass. For quality four-wheel drive and camping gear, use kick-ass products. Available only at australiandirect.com.au.
Priceline Pharmacy's 3-day sale is on now. With half-price makeup. Plus half-price skincare, vitamins and hair care. Sale ends Thursday. Terms and conditions apply.
It isn't waste until you waste it. That's the catch cry from an amazing company called Eco Waste Solutions. Eco Waste Solutions is a hard waste recycling facility, not a dump, located at Williston. They'll take everything except hazardous waste and food scraps. They'll take your waste bricks, your mattresses, tyres, soil, timber, steel, concrete and more. Plus, if you pre-sort your load, you receive a 50% discount on disposal fees. Google Eco Waste Solutions Williston for more.
Get big March deals at Bridgestone Select, like 4th tyre free on Bridgestone's fuel-saving Ecopia and up to $100 cash back on a range of Bridgestone and Firestone car, SUV and 4x4 tyres. For tyres and auto service you can count on, march into Bridgestone Select. Conditions apply.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of ready-to-hang roller blinds and 40% off the entire range of ready-to-hang eyelet curtains. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
Harvey Norman's largest clearance centre is now open. It's big, it's red and it's on Marion Road. Kitchen, laundry and cooking appliances, big screen TVs, homewares and so much more. New, second, scratch and dented factory refurbished stock, all with manufacturer's warranty. Furniture, bedding and mattress offers, brand new designs always arriving and an outdoor range that just goes wow. Carpet end of rolls, a huge rug display and flooring bulk stacked ready to go. Harvey Norman's huge clearance centre. It's big, it's red and it's at 919 Marion Road.
Go!
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Physio Extra is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. physioextra.com.
The state government's offered to employ another 50 ambulance officers if the union agrees to roster changes. The two sides are locked in an industrial dispute over staffing and funding issues. Treasurer Rob Lucas says they're keen to resolve the matter as quickly as possible.
Today at 9 o'clock, entering the third day of mediation
is at least some grounds for some optimism that both sides are still talking. These things can fall apart on the first day, but it hasn't. So I'm hopeful that we might be able to reach some sort of an agreement to settle the dispute.
There's been a serious crash at Tantanoola near Millicent. Just after 6:30, a car left the road and hit a tree stump off Tantanoola Road. Major crash investigators are making their way to the scene. Pop star Ed Sheeran's performed a song written in quarantine at a memorial in Melbourne for Australian music industry great Michael Gudinski. More than 7,000 people attended the service, including Jimmy Barnes and Kylie Minogue. Mr Gudinski's son Matt also paid tribute to his father.
Dad's greatest legacy was the impact he had on people from all walks of life. He could push people to reach limits they didn't know they had.
Most river systems across New South Wales have now peaked as thousands of residents on the mid-north coast prepare to return home. About 20,000 have spent another night away from their homes or cut off by floodwaters. The Hawkesbury River is slowly falling, but there's still a moderate to major flood level in many areas. New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian says for most areas the threat is starting to ease.
Clearly our main area of concern is around the Grafton community, but of course there are still very strong flows occurring all across the state. But the best advice I've received this morning is that most of the river systems we believe have peaked.
Oil prices have climbed on international markets amid fears supplies could be disrupted by the grounding of a giant container ship in the Suez Canal. About 10% of world trade, including huge quantities of oil, pass through the waterway. The man accused of the latest mass shooting in the US has been described as someone prone to rage and delusions. More from Nine's Alison Petrovsky in Colorado.
A police car is this morning covered in flowers outside the grocery store where 10 people were murdered on Monday. Ahmed Alissa is charged over the mass shooting. Those who know him say he's prone to sudden rage. He was suffering mental illness and delusions, according to his family, and believed he was being followed. Police say the 21-year-old purchased an assault weapon less than a week earlier, renewing debate about gun control. In 2018, Ahmed Alissa was found guilty of repeatedly punching a high school classmate in the head. He'll face court tomorrow, charged with 10 counts of murder.
Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Adelaide is set to be tested in defence this week with several changes forecast after last week's brilliant win against Geelong. Luke Brown's been ruled out along with Mitch Hinge, while Daniel Talia is at least another week away with a knee injury, while Jake Kelly will also miss through concussion. But at the other end of the ground, forward Taylor Walker will be free to play, hoping to back up his fabulous 5-goal haul from the opening round. Teammate Brodie Smith telling Rowie he's been working very hard this pre-season.
His whole pre-season, to be honest, has been inspiring. The way the standard he's set and the way he's looked after these young forwards, all the advice he's given them, the way he makes them train, it's been unbelievable.
And round 2 resumes tonight with Carlton taking on Collingwood in front of 75,000 fans at the MCG. To cricket, and after 2 days of no play, South Australia and Queensland will be hoping to get on the park in their Shield match in Brisbane, with play scheduled to begin later this morning. Meantime, Sri Lanka has the upper hand late on day 4 of its test match against the West Indies in Antigua. The tourists made 476 in their second innings, giving them a lead of 374, and the Windies are currently 1 for 30. Plenty of tennis action on this morning, with Alexei Poprin beating Feliciano Lopez in straight sets at the Miami Open. And James Duckworth has just recorded a hard-fought 3-set win against Misha Zverev. Storm Sanders is on court later this morning. Ash Barty has a first-round bye. And round 3 of the NRL kicks off tonight with a grand final rematch between the Melbourne Storm and Penrith Panthers. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now checking FIVEaa traffic.
Dave Potter's Mad March demo clearance is on now, with huge savings and factory bonuses across the range.
Mansfield Park, a smash on Grand Junction Road, which is affecting either side of the north-south motorway. Also up that way, very heavy for Main North Road between Blarathole and Mundine. Prospect Road getting towards Prospect. And Islington Churchill Road, busy city-bound due to roadworks with the speed down to 25. Looking for your first car or a second runabout with over 140,000 cars and hundreds more added every day. Find your shortcut to the one on car sales. Everything you auto know. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEaa.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Partly cloudy and 21 today, cloudy again tomorrow, 24. A possible morning shower Saturday, 22. And partly cloudy again on Sunday, 23. At the moment, 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8 after 8, jump on the 5AA Facebook page. You can go to YouTube, search 5AA and get on the live stream because we're launching a new segment in a few moments. And if you just want to see something that is completely and utterly stupid occasionally, we've got the tonic for you. We can scratch that itch, and we're going to with a brand new segment this morning that solves an issue for us and hopefully provides you a moment of puzzlement in your morning. It's coming up, and you don't want to miss it, so jump on YouTube, Facebook, watch along, and it's coming up right after Breaking It.
Well, I've been talking again in the last 24 hours to some of the residents of 4th and 5th Avenues in Joslin, which, of course, as everybody now knows, is home to the brand spanking new and quite large Chinese Consulate General here in South Australia. Now, the formal opening of the consulate is happening next week, and there's a degree of eye-rolling going on among the neighbours, many of whom have had complaints about the manner in which the consulate was constructed. We've discussed them at some length on our program and in an article I did for The Australian a few Saturdays ago. This opening sounds like it's turning into a bit of a free-for-all. I understand that a bunch of different community and ethnic and religious organisations around Adelaide who have serious issues with Beijing. Talking here about the East Turkestan Association, which represents South Australia's Uyghur community. I'm talking about the Tibetans and the Nepalese. I'm talking about the Hong Kongers. Talking even about some members of the Indian community. There's talk that there's going to be some sort of counter event, possibly organised at the exact same time that the consulate is going to be formally opened. And one resident said to me this morning that it's turning into a bit of a talking point where people feel that, you know, the sort of leafy back streets of Joslin, this wasn't what they signed up for as residents, to have the entire fraught relationships of the Asia Pacific being fought out sort of walking distance from the Joslin playground. But that's the way things stand at the moment. You'd imagine there's going to be a pretty solid police presence when all of this happens next week. There's even been talk of people coming in from interstate to attend it as well. And speaking of interstate, I do know for a fact that, because they spoke to me about it, Current Affair are doing a national story over the coming few days on the 9 network about it as well. So more to come on the opening and the operations of the consulate here in South Australia.
After 8:30 this morning, we're going to be talking about the Ever Given, the ship that's currently blocking the Suez Canal, 400 metres long, 200,000 tonnes. What does it mean for shipping, trade, oil prices, and how the hell do you get a boat that size out when it's wedged in a canal that's been man-made and dug by human machinery? We'll talk about it after 8:30, but it's inspired our $100 Waller's gift card this morning, where we're asking you, when have you been stuck? You know, some solidarity for the captain in this case. Give us a call, 8223 0000. Now, we want you to jump on the 5AA Facebook and YouTube live stream, whatever is your preference right now, because we've got perhaps the silliest segment on Adelaide Radio to launch here and now. And it comes out of a problem that we face and radio stations typically face. We get a lot of stuff from PR companies. A lot of stuff. Just random stuff that gets
unsolicited.
Sent to it. They just send it in. Here's a giant cutout of Grant Denyer. Or, you know, here's
48 Krispy Kreme donuts.
Here's 48 Krispy Kreme donuts. And it turns out we always wonder, what do we do with this stuff? Well, we have our answer. An idea we've completely stolen from David Letterman. Will it float? With that stuff, we will ask you the question, will it float? And you can...
Are we really doing this?
Yeah, we certainly are. Lucy's in the studio with today's first bit of PR stuff that's been sent to us. Morning to you, Lucy.
Morning, guys. Well, Dave, you weren't wrong with the Krispy Kremes. You're kind of close. It is a food item today.
Crispy, I reckon they send something you once a week.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for this week's batch personally, but that's okay.
They could send me 400 of those donuts a day and I wouldn't eat one. Is that what they wanted PR-wise, do you think?
So what have we got, Lucy?
Well, today we have from the lovely people at Kyton's Bakery. They have sent us in some fruit choc hot cross buns.
Oh, now these are good.
Oh, okay.
These are good.
So today...
Okay.
I'm holding it up. It's wrapped in Glad Wrap right now. It will not be in Glad Wrap after the break.
An unwrapped hot cross bun.
fruit choc hot cross buns. Now, Kyton sent these to us the other day. They make about 500,000 hot cross buns in the 8 weeks before Easter.
Wow.
And they were lovely enough to send us some on the Brekkie Show. And we're going to test if a fruit choc hot cross bun floats.
What if the choc element affects its buoyancy? I'm not sure. If you've got a thought of whether it'll sink or float, let us know on the live stream, YouTube or Facebook, or you can call an 8223 0000. You look like you're thinking about this.
No, I think this is an easy start just for people to get their eye in.
Okay.
I mean, if anyone has ever fed bread to the ducks, knows that any yeast product will float.
Well, I've got to be honest. I had 3 of these yesterday for morning tea.
Okay, well,
they're pretty dense.
Well,
so
did you jump in a bathtub afterwards, and did you float?
Nice.
Don't answer that question. Now,
the fruit choc might change the floatability.
Have to wait and see.
Let us know your thoughts, folks. Jump on the live stream, watch right now. We're going to check traffic in a moment. We're going to find out whether it floats. The traffic comes thanks to Dave Potter, Australia's #1 Honda dealer, 2nd year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
Traffic hotspots on Main North Road between Grand Junction Road and Regency Road for city-bound. Prospect Road across the way from there, suffering down to Regency Road as well. And Churchill Road, Islington, a little patch there with the speed at 25 for those ongoing roadworks. Looking further afield and delays easing from an earlier smash on the north-south motorway at Grand Junction Road for city-bound. You'll find it tough going as well for Port Road near Adam Street, Hindmarsh outbound. Don't wish for it, work out for it with Zap Fitness. Join by March 28 for a $0 startup fee plus 2 weeks free on selected memberships. Visit zapfitness.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie Sport Show.
Brodie Smith, B. Smith, welcome. Please ask Brodie what he said to Dangerfield immediately after the bump. What did you say?
Who's picked up on that? Well done.
It's a text.
I asked him if he was going on a little holiday, and turns out I was right.
4 p.m. weekdays.
How did you see it? 3 weeks for that?
It is a tough one. He's decided to bump. One of my important teammates is now nursing a broken nose and a concussion, so I think it's probably around the mark.
Rowie Sport Show on 5AA.
Finally, we can crank it back up. Getting there. Almost there. And we're back. Back to the Lion. Get back to cold beers with your mates. Get back to live music by stunning acoustic artists. Get back to a menu filled with all the classics. Get back to normality. Get back to where you belong. The Lion, North Adelaide.
G'day, Tom Wren here. March is Epilepsy Awareness Month, and the Epilepsy Centre here in SA receives no government funding for family support and the education and training they provide across the state. If you want to support them and the 63,000 people living with epilepsy in SA, take a minute to sign the Epilepsy Centre's petition for state government funding, or purchase a $60 lottery ticket for a chance to win $40,000 cash. Go to epilepsycentre.org.au, licence M13978.
For over 36 years, Steinborner has been well worth the trip. With over 400 used cars to choose from, you're sure to find the car you're looking for. Steinborner is your first choice for new Hyundai and Mitsubishi in the Barossa, and your first choice for Ford in Clare. And don't forget, you can always click through the collection of vehicles online at steinborner.com.au. Great local deals on great local cars from your locals. Steinborner Automotive. Still well worth the trip, or well worth the click.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of ready-to-hang roller blinds and 40% off the entire range of ready-to-hang eyelet curtains, so you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
At Harvey Norman, Norman, your technology specialists save $100 on the great value Asus 14-inch laptop. Now just $348. Acer Aspire 5 laptop with the latest 11th gen Intel Core i5 processor. Now $697, save $300. Or the ultra-portable HP Pavilion laptop, designed for exceptional entertainment, with an 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor, only $1,298. Now at Harvey Norman.
At IGA, you'll find everything you need to celebrate Easter your way. Like Australian beef rump steak, $22 per kilo. And Yarrow's Easter buns, 430 to 480 gram selected varieties, $3.50 each. Now at your local IGA. Offer ends March 30. Participating stores only.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easy for property investors and the tenants of their properties. Everyone is treated with integrity and respect. That's the Lynn Andrews way. For commercial and residential property management, we are here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
19 minutes after 8. In our unerring commitment to prove that not everything needs to be cerebral.
There's a brand promise we can live up to.
Comes this. David Letterman was onto something 20 years ago with Will It Float, and it solves a problem for us. What do we do with all the stuff PR companies send us? Today's item is a Goodings fruit choc hot cross bun, and we have hundreds upon hundreds of people watching across Facebook and YouTube this morning wondering, will it float?
We do have hundreds.
Scott and Andrew on Facebook say sink. Sandra on YouTube says float. Alf called, says definitely float. Strong in the float... in the float view.
I'm with you, Alf.
All right, well, let's see what happens. Lucy, to do the honours on the 5AA Facebook live stream. Here we go.
Deploy the hot cross bun. Lucy lines up.
Okay.
The hot cross bun is going into the water. What about that? And it floats! Never in doubt.
Never
You're right,
in doubt.
Alf.
There it is. So in case you're wondering, now you know. We're answering questions for you.
Are we going to do this every day?
No. Well, we get sent some interesting stuff.
That's true.
Big thank to Kitons. We couldn't fit the giant grunt denier in the tub, so that's why we had to go with hot cross bun this morning. All right, the $100 Waller's gift card today is...
You can still eat the top of that, Lise.
The $100 Waller's gift card today, we're asking you about when you've been stuck, somewhat like the captain of the Ever Given, the ship that is currently stuck across the Suez Canal. Bob in Cheltenham, good morning.
Good morning, guys. In regards to being stuck, years ago when I was in the meat trade, I was out at Samcor when it was out of Jepp's Cross, and I was doing my meat inspection studies, and I went into one of the big, huge refrigeration rooms where they put all the quartered carcasses. And these rooms were just absolutely big. You know, I'm talking about house block size, and just absolutely stacked. We ventured down to the nether regions of the corner of one of the room, and we were checking out, doing our studies on the carcass and such. And it was just myself and another bloke, and someone closed the door and turned out the light.
Oh my God!
And it was pitch. You couldn't put your hand. You couldn't see your hand in front of you, and it was all by feel. And we had no way out because this room was chock-a-block, and they just slid another light in and then closed it up. So all your yelling and screaming didn't matter much because of the noise of the refrigeration units overhead. So the only thing we could do was just, we had to get down on our hands and knees and at times crawl on our belly towards where we thought the door was when we last saw it open. And just as we got to the door, someone opened it up, after they heard us banging on the door and let us out. But
you are so lucky, Bob.
Wow.
Oh, mate, I mean, you're talking about cold refrigeration. And
You would have lasted, I reckon, an hour, 2 hours max?
It wasn't a freezer, but at the same time, when you're down in that sort of situation where you've got no sight, you've got no nothing.
Yeah. Oh, how horrifying!
It wasn't good, and
No.
Believe me, the bloke behind me, he was very intimately close to my butt.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for that. Let's go to Summerton Park. Jenny, good morning.
Good morning. Well, actually, mine's very similar. I was on a freighter going from Melbourne to Sydney in the 70s, and I had to go upstairs to the loo, and it's one of those doors, and you had to pull the lever shut, big metal thing. Well, I was in there, and I couldn't get out, and everybody's downstairs or below deck, or the next deck below, and no one could hear me. I think I was there for about half an hour. It was pretty frightening, although I wasn't in the dark like the previous caller.
Oh, Jenny.
Oh, no.
Unbelievable.
Oh, that's not fun at all. None of them are, I guess. That's what we're asking you. Janelle, good morning.
Good morning. This was one Christmas, and we were at a shopping centre, and we saw a car park, and when hubby pulled into it, he realised the park in front of it was also free, so we thought he'd do the right thing and let the people behind have a park behind us, and we pulled forward, went into the shops. A couple of hours later, we came out and realised there was a bollard in front of our car.
Oh, no.
So we were wedged in because someone had parked behind us. So we had to actually wait for the other people to come out.
How long did that take, Janelle?
Too embarrassing to sit in the car. We just hovered around the car park.
How long were you waiting for?
Oh, fortunately, it was near the end of the day, so it wasn't too long.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad. Good on you, Janelle. Do you get a lot of good calls about people being stuck? We
Hey,
had
I've got
Merle
one
earlier as well.
I got one that brings a couple of themes together from this week. So one of my good friend of Mum and Dad's, Nan, she rang my parents to tell them about the time she was driving her little mini Minor, and she got it jammed between two cars, and she was standing there looking at it going, oh, my God, there's no way I'm going to get my car out of here. And she heard this voice going, don't worry, honey, I can do it for you. And this bloke came forward, lifted up the front of the Mini with his bare hands, jiggled it out onto the road so that she could move the car.
Can I guess who the bloke was?
An SANFL great.
It wasn't Graham Collins.
It was Rick Davies.
Oh!
So there you go.
So Graham doesn't have the market cornered on
No,
ex-footballers
he does
who
not.
come to the rescue.
Number 24,
Okay,
Jumbo Prince, did a bit of
okay.
it too in his spare time.
Into Rick Davies. He's sort of maybe he's the Robin to Graham Corns' Batman.
Oh, don't even say such a thing. You can't mention the two of them in the same breath. I know Graham's a colleague of ours, but I'm not buying it.
Well, all I'm saying is Graham's record for heroism is unrivaled.
Yes. Well, not now, it's not.
Well, no, I think one
I
compared
reckon
to...
there'll be other Rick Davies stories
All
out
right,
there.
all right. And I think this is your sturt bias coming through because we had 15 people independently call up and talk about Graham Corns' heroism.
Quite a few people this morning are texting in asking at what point will Graham be going to the Suez Canal.
They are. I think he's operating the digger. If you zoom in on it,
that's right.
He's currently operating the digger.
Exactly.
Was he at the airport when we spoke to him yesterday?
Yeah,
I think he might have
was on
been.
his way. Just flying out to Dubai.
It's time for Fuel Watch. Thanks to Dave Potter Honda. Petrol has dropped further overnight. $1.27 at the OTR in Glenburn Road in Leabrook. $1.25 in Largs North and Peterhead. It's $1.22 in Blair Athol and Churchill Prospect and Main North Roads. And $1.22 also on Henley Beach Road in Underdale.
Wakey, wakey! It's savings time at Dreamland.
That's right. Wake up and get into Dreamland and save up to 50% off in Dreamland's Wake Up Sale. You'll get up to 50% off Sealy Posturepedic, Sleepmaker, Sleep Haven, Restopedic and exclusive Utopia mattresses. And for this month only, get Sleepmaker Claire Queen Pocket Spring mattresses for half price. That's only $999 for the queen size. Plus get great deals on all beds and bedroom furniture. All in Dreamland's Wake Up Sale.
So wake up and come to Dreamland.
Dreamland.
Noticing mice, cockroaches or spiders at home? Worried about termites? Chat to Adelaide Pest Control, your local experts, awarded Pest Manager of the Year. Call Mick and the team to get a general pest treatment or a detailed termite inspection for only $198. Call now on 8344 8181. That's 8344 8181. Or visit adelaidepestcontrol.com.au/radio. Offer expires at the end of March, so get in quick. Adelaide Pest Control, your local experts. adelaidepestcontrol.com.au for T's and C's. GoVita Health Food Shops specialise in you, offering products and wellness advice personalised to you since 1987.
Hi, I'm Peter from GoVita Tanunda and Fairview Green, and this month you can find these specials. Natural Road Plant Protein 1 kilo, chocolate or vanilla, was $64.95, now $49.95, plus a free shaker while stocks last.
Get these specials and more at GoVita Colonnades, Fairview Green, Marion, Mount Barker, Monopara, Semaphore and Tanunda.
You might think having thousands of pals is excessive, but that's not what the team at Parafield Airport Liquor Store think, because that's how many they have. Sure, they might be made up of over 100 gins, over 200 whiskies, over 300 craft beers, and over 2,000 boutique wines. But they're some of the best pals you could have, and they're always looking for more, even if they are tricky to track down. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
When you think surgery, you think hospital, right? Well, Dr. Greg Keane wants you to think SportsMed.
SportsMed is the only purpose-built orthopaedic hospital in the country, with world-class nursing and theatre staff, a first-class catering team, and the latest innovations in patient treatment and care.
And your surgeons?
We're experts in all procedures for hips, knees, feet, ankles, shoulders, elbows, wrists and hands.
All your treatments, all your care. One place. SportsMed.
Start living life again after your successful surgery.
Sportsmed.com.au.
QCO on Brighton Road have everything you need to upgrade your bathroom, kitchen and laundry. We have over 40 vanity units on display, tapware, shower screens and even the kitchen sink. Choose from leading brands like Caroma, Dorf, Phoenix, ADP, Timberline and more. Come in for ideas and talk to the experts at QCO, a South Australian family business for over 60 years. QCO, reflecting your good taste. Visit our showroom, 270 Brighton Road, Somerton Park.
Have you scraped or dented your caravan? Your insurance should cover that, and Walker Crash Repairs will fix it right and on time. Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA-approved crash repairer for caravans and cars.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Right on 8:30, 5AA News Time. 24 hours ago, in fact, just under 24 hours ago, at 8 o'clock yesterday, we remarked about a somewhat comical scene playing out in the Suez Canal where a 200,000-tonne, 400-metre-long freighter by the name of Ever Given looked like it was effectively parked across the breadth of the canal. It meant no ships could get through. At the time, there were 30 or 40 that had begun to get banked up. And rather comically, what looked like a miniature digger was doing some work to try and dig out the channel so that this giant ship could turn and allow freight to continue through. Well, here we are 24 hours later, and it's no longer just comical to look at. It's a serious story that's had an impact on oil prices and will for shipping through one of the most crucial shipping routes in the world. We're going to chat with an expert about what can be done and what the impacts will be right after this.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 21 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
Mediation between the Ambulance Employees Association and the state government enters its third day today. There's been an offer from the Treasurer to employ an extra 50 paramedics if the union agrees to roster changes. Rob Lucas is hopeful an agreement can be reached.
What we're saying is what we have to do to reach an agreement is we have to be prepared to employ the extra ambulance officers, which we are making clear that we are. That they actually have to agree to 8 and 10 hour shifts in addition to the 12, not just to consider roster reform.
A car has run off the road and hit a tree stump at Tantanoola in the state's southeast. It happened just after 6:30 on Tantanoola Road. The condition of the driver isn't known. 2 people have died in floodwaters in New South Wales and Queensland. In the Gold Coast hinterland, the body of a man's been found inside an overturned ute. And police are investigating the death of a man in floodwaters in Sydney's northwest. More from 9's Selene Lambetsos.
The 25-year-old was in Glenorrey for his first day in a new job when he drove into deep floodwater, becoming trapped. Police believe he called friends to tell them what was happening. He also called 000 and spoke to an operator for about 40 minutes before the line cut out. Initial inspections of the car suggest he tried to get out but couldn't, potentially due to damage to the brand new vehicle's electronics. Police say the road he was on did have warning signs and there's a chance he didn't see how deep the water was. The man's body was eventually found in the car 30 metres from the road and 6 metres deep in water.
Well, the latest contingent of South Australian SES volunteers will head to New South Wales today to assist with the flood emergency. Music icons Kylie Minogue and Ed Sheeran have performed at the State Memorial for Australian music industry legend Michael Gudinski. 7,000 people attended at Rod Laver Arena for the tribute. Jimmy Barnes also sang and shared memories about his friend of 50 years.
He was one of a kind. We don't have to say that. Everybody knows that. Michael was one of a kind, and Australian music would not be what it is today without his support and without his love and without his nurturing.
The Prime Minister says he won't be drawn on speculation he's planning a cabinet reshuffle this weekend. It's widely tipped Christian Porter will be dropped as Attorney-General and Linda Reynolds will lose her defence portfolio. Both ministers have been embroiled in sexual assault and harassment allegations. Scott Morrison says he's yet to make up his mind about any changes.
I can't speak to what media report. All I can say is that when I make decisions on these matters, I'll communicate them and my reasons for it.
Victoria's hotel quarantine system is due to again be tested, with the state government expected to sign off on a resumption of international flights into Melbourne. The scheme has been shut down for 6 weeks after a UK strain of COVID escaped from a quarantine hotel. Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide will be without gun midfielder Connor Rozee for at least one more week as he continues his recovery from foot surgery. The Power will have to replace injured defender Riley Bonner for Saturday's match against Essendon, and the match looms as a big test for former Bomber Orazio Fantasia. Rozee delighted with the impact he's already making at Alberton.
Yeah, he's a star. He'll be really important for us the whole of this year, I think, and earlier as well was really solid down back. So I think you can see that their impact coming in straight away was pretty evident, and he'll definitely be a big player for us going forward.
Cameron Smith has made a strong start at the World Golf Match Play event in Texas, recording a one-up win against American Lanto Griffin. But fellow Aussies Jason Day and Mark Leishman have both lost their opening matches, meaning they can't afford to lose another one if they're any chance to progress to the weekend action. To soccer, and Matilda's captain Sam Kerr's receiving praise for after a brilliant performance for Chelsea in the Women's Champions League. She scored the opening goal and assisted the winner in a 2-1 victory over German side Wolfsburg. Meantime, it's full-time in World Cup qualifiers for this morning, and the Republic of Ireland has gone down to Serbia 3-2. Portugal had a 1-0 win against Azerbaijan. Slovenia upset Croatia 1-0. The Netherlands also had a shock 4-2 loss to Turkey. Belgium beat Wales 3-1, while France and the Ukraine played out a 1-1 draw. And some sad news to finish with a former French Olympic snowboarder, Julie Pomagalski, dying in an avalanche in the Swiss Alps. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now checking FIVEaa traffic.
Dave Potter, Australia's #1 Honda dealer, second year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
Traffic hotspots this morning causing some real problems around the parade. Glenburn Road to Port Rush Road for citybound. Royston Park and Evandale and Maylands on Port Rush Road. Very heavy too for the north of the city on Main North Road between Port Wakefield Road, Jeps Cross, all the way down to Sefton Park. And very heavy too for Prospect Road, getting down towards Prospect at Regency Road too. Style your home with Freedom Homewares. Right now you can get 25% off their entire homewares range, including 25% off rugs, cushions, lighting and more. On now, only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEaa.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit AudiSolitaire.com.au.
Partly cloudy and 21 today, 24 tomorrow, a possible morning shower on Saturday, 22, and Sunday partly cloudy, 23. At the moment, 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 9. Not sure it's a miracle they need, but they need a solution in the Suez Canal at the moment. One of the key shipping routes in the world. Accounts for some 12% of world trade, connecting the Mediterranean, the Red Sea, the main shipping route for shipment. If you imagine Australian troops going to fight in the Second World War, went essentially through this route. And if it's blocked, so is Asia from Europe and the Middle East. And it is blocked at the moment by virtue of a 400-metre long ship called the Ever Given that's parked across the Suez Canal. Associate Professor Sal Mercogliano from Campbell University in North Carolina joins us. Associate Professor, good morning to you. Welcome to the program. Can you explain to us how this could happen?
Well, we're getting conflicting reports on what exactly happened. According to the agent for the ship and the Suez Canal Authority, the vessel lost power. Went dark was the phrase they used. And once they lost propulsion to the propeller and the rudder, she careened into the eastern shore of the Suez Canal, basically planted her bulbous bow right into the concrete on the side. The ship company says no, that it was weather, it was high winds because of the very high sail area of the vessel. She is 1,300 feet, 400 meters, carries 20,000 containers. But ships that size traverse the canal on a very routine basis. So what makes this really even more unusual is the vessel, where it's stuck about 5 miles into the Suez Canal, is longer than the canal is wide. So she has gone across the canal and blocked the entire canal.
So what do you make so far, Professor, of the attempts being made to get the vessel out? And can you see it? Can you see it working quickly, or do you think it's going to take a while to get the ship to turn around?
Well, I'll tell you, she hit at a very high speed. She was doing about 13 knots in the canal when she lost power. And if you look at the images of her bow, you can see how the speed she had when she hit. It's very difficult to get her to move because of the 200,000 tons she weighs. They have tried to pull her. Unfortunately, the only tugs they've been able to pull her with is the smaller tugs they have available. They just had a high tide there, and they weren't able to move her. And now they're moving the vessels that were behind her coming up the canal. They're pulling them out of the canal. That kind of tells me that she's stuck, not moving any time, at least in the near future. They're going to have to wait for the next high tide, which will be early tomorrow morning. The tides are getting bigger as the end of the month comes closer. But this is obviously costing a huge amount of money waiting. The options here are to take the fuel and water and oil off the vessel to kind of lighter it. It's going to be very difficult to get the containers off of her because she is such a large container ship. She can only go into several ports in the world that have cranes tall enough to reach her. And it's very hard to find a floating crane that would have the reach to start pulling containers off her.
Yeah.
So what's a realistic time frame then? Could we be talking days, or could it even be longer than that?
Well, I sat there and said that if they started moving the ships out from behind her, that's an indication that this may go on for a few days, and they've started doing that now.
Oh, gee.
So it looks like they're going to have to wait for the high tides again to try to kind of get her out. They're going to have to get some larger tugs in. They may have to do some dredging to get some of the dirt free so that they can get her stern. If they get her stern off the western bank, they could probably pull her up against the eastern bank and at least allow vessels to pass there. But the bigger issue is if she's there for a few more days, you know, every day 50 vessels arrive at the canal, Port Suez, Port Said, waiting to go in the canal. And shipping companies are going to have to start making decisions. Do I send my ship back through the Med? Do I send my ship, you know, from the Straits of Malacca to the Red Sea, or do I start routing them around Africa, adding 6,000 miles in 2 weeks to get to my ports?
The potential for it to affect the flow of goods globally is significant, isn't it?
Oh, you're talking about 3.3 million tons of cargo through it every day, 5.2 million 5.2 million barrels of oil a day, and we're going on to day 3 right now. And so, I mean, you're about to see this, really start having an impact. I mean, you're talking about 10% of the world economy moving through the Suez Canal. If she's closed down for 5 weeks, that's a 1% of the entire world economy that's not moving.
Is there any historical example we can point to get a sense of how this might play out if it's closed for a period?
Well, it's interesting. They've had groundings in the canal before. The most recent was back in 2017, a slightly smaller container ship, but she only grounded against the bank. She didn't block the canal. It took several hours to get her free. You have to go back to the Arab-Israeli Wars. 1956, the canal was closed for about 6 months. But the biggest one was the 1967 Six-Day War. The canal was closed for 8 years. The canal literally became the border between Israel and Egypt. And it forced shipping companies to reroute around Africa. As a matter of fact, it's one of the reasons today you see vessels like the Evergreen vessel, because they started to build their vessels larger and bigger to go around Africa. You start building the very large, ultra-large crude carriers, the super tankers.
Are they built large because the weather's so much more treacherous around Africa, Professor?
Right. Well, it's absolutely. I've been around it. Believe me, I know. The Southern Sea is a torrential sea. It's very dangerous. But it's also an economy of scale. Instead of building 2 smaller ships, you build 1 large ship. And one of the things that Egypt has been doing now is expanding the size of the canal, building it so they can get these larger vessels in. So it's going to be interesting to see what the scenario plays out after the ship is freed.
We've already seen some movement with regard to oil prices. Is there anything else that consumers will likely see as a result of a prolonged period with the canal shut?
Well, I think you're right about oil prices. You're going to see that spike. The big issue is, of course, manufactured goods and material for factories being delayed. You can conceivably see shutdowns in, automotive plants, that parts aren't coming from the Far East that may delay manufacturing lines. We're still overcoming delays incurred by COVID in 2020.
Yeah.
So that's a big hurdle to get over. And, we keep kind of having this accordion of trade and travel right now, where we catch up and then we slow down. And right now we saw container rates spike in December to 3.5 times the normal rate. They're about to go through the roof again. So we're going to see, it'd be more expensive. The one who pays for this at the very end is going to be the consumers.
Yeah. Hey, that's great analysis.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Professor Mercogliano. Hope life's good in North Carolina too. One of my best friends from my hometown here in Australia lives in Chapel Hill. And I went there a few years ago and got stuck into the pulled pork. It was terrific.
Oh, well, that's always one of the best things here we have is good old North Carolina barbecue. I have quite a few Australians here at Campbell University. Got a couple of tennis players and golfers, so yeah. I enjoy the opportunity to talk to you guys.
You're not far down the road from the sort of the Raleigh-Durham area, are you? It's only about an hour away where you are.
No, not even. About 30 minutes right down the road. So, good basketball country right here.
Yeah.
Always good. So, we enjoy it here. So
absolutely.
You all need to come up and visit.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. We look forward to the time when we can all travel again. Professor, appreciate your time.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Associate Professor Sal Mercogliano from Campbell University in North Carolina. That was fascinating information about what the impacts will be and the difficulties posed by a ship of this size hitting with that force. And I didn't realise it was travelling at that speed.
Yeah, that's really going at a fair
13
clip,
knots
isn't
is
it?
what you're talking, 20 k's, over 20 k's an hour for something that's 200,000 tonnes.
Oh. But you think about just what the ship itself would weigh, like taking the fuel off it or the cargo off it. And it's interesting, though, showing how interconnected the world is, though, that you think, oh, look, you see it pops up on the news as one of those zany items where you think, oh, look at that, there's a ship stuck. And then, but as the professor said, it might actually explain why you get a phone call from your car company saying, oh, look, that sedan you've ordered, it's going to be 3 months late.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's check traffic thanks to Dave Potter, Australia's #1 Honda dealer, second year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
Traffic running pretty well this morning until you get to those busy spots, and you'll find them in plenty of places. Main North Road, the main offender at the moment, Blair Athol, both directions, possibly due to a traffic hazard. Prospect Road, Citybound, Regency Road's fairly heavy, and Churchill Road due to roadworks is getting slow towards Regency and Islington. Royston Park, both directions under the pump up towards those lights on Portrush Road at Paynham Road, and through Beulah Park and Kensington Park, the Parade and McGill Road respectively are busy for Citybound. With Amazon Prime, you can stream Amazon Originals and movies while also receiving a free delivery on Prime eligible orders for $6.99 a month. Amazon Prime. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Major road resurfacing works on the South Eastern Freeway between the Toll Gate and Hyson tunnels will be underway until mid-2021. Motorists should expect delays, so allow extra travel time. Visit dit.sa.gov.au/SE Freeway. A message from the Government of South Australia.
At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we believe that what you want is pretty straightforward. A service department that offers factory-trained mechanics, next-day servicing, complimentary pickup and delivery, wash and vacuum is standard, brake, wheel alignment and shock absorber testing included, complimentary loan cars, breakfast or lunch is on us, and access Wi-Fi while you're waiting. Go online to book your service today and experience the difference. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of ready-to-hang roller blinds and 40% off the entire range of ready-to-hang eyelet curtains. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
Design experts Kyle and Kara's top tips for creating your perfect space from the comfort of your own home, thanks to Beaumont Tiles.
Things have changed so much for us since being on the block in 2014.
They sure have, and like most people, we're time poor. That's why we've put our years of experience and worked together with Beaumont's to create some great design solutions to help you.
Jump onto tile.com.au and start with the What's My Style quiz.
After doing the quick 2-minute quiz, you'll know your top 3 styles and have mood boards and a fully curated lookbook that you can download.
Order samples of the tiles you love online or in store with confidence. Not just tiny 100 by 100 samples, but full-size samples to see the variation and design in the tile.
That's why we chose Beaumont's.
They're the tiling and bathroom wear specialists.
Create your perfect space from the comfort of your home with the What's My Style quiz, exclusive to Beaumont's. See tile.com.au.
Save up to 55% off discontinued Beautyrest black mattresses and ensembles now at Harvey Norman. Now's the time to upgrade your mattress and support Australian-made manufacturing. Plus, purchase with 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $500. Minimum finance amount $1,000. Approved applicants only. 60 equal monthly payments. Interest applies if you do not comply with terms and conditions. Fees and exclusions apply. Save up to 55% off discontinued Beautyrest black mattresses and ensembles, exclusive to Harvey Norman.
I don't think people understand Kangaroo Island as much as they should. There's no place like an island, and when you land or whether you drive off the ferry, you've just got that stretch of water in between. And let me tell you, it's a completely different mindset.
Generous lots at the Seaside Emu Bay development are selling fast.
There's nothing else you can do but relax and slow down.
A stunning lifestyle opportunity awaits on Kangaroo Island. Go to seasideki.com.au.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
10 to 9. What's coming through on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line?
One here from Sue. She says, David and Will, I think you guys are being too harsh on ScoMo. In the last 12 months, he's had to deal with more than any other PM. Some of that emotion could be that he is exhausted and could use a break. Oops, no, he can't do that either. He'll get criticised for that too. Thank you for that, Sue. Talking about getting stuck as well, what about this one? I was stuck in a lift at Lyell McEwen Hospital with 6 very pregnant ladies and their partners on our last prenatal visit. Oh, prenatal visits. Geez, I just had a flashback.
You did. You look distressed.
So you got
then.
all this ahead of you, birthing classes.
Yeah, but it
is a festival of awkwardness going to birthing class. You're sitting around with all these complete strangers and you get your little, standard issue styrofoam cup of international roast and a couple of milk arrowroots, and you stick your names onto your shirt with the adhesive sticker. Write your name on with a texter, and you're sitting in some dusty room at night.
Yeah, but unless
then the facilitator comes out and says, "Okay, now what we're going to do now, just to get you familiar with some of the sounds you might hear during the birth process, we're just going to play this video of a woman in labour."
Right.
And like, particularly for the first time, as you sit in the room, and everyone's going, "Oh dear, oh dear." It's confronting, and it's made weird by it's like the sort of HR setting gone wrong. Back me up here, folks. Anyone who's ever been to a birthing, guys, Will's, I think you're off to get a vasectomy, Will. I'm describing all this to you.
No, I just keep thinking to myself, unless there's a real shock in store, you didn't actually have to give birth, though, did you?
No. Exactly. But it's one of those partner type things where everyone's sitting around in this room.
The partner gave birth, you had to watch an uncomfortable video? Was that the division of labour?
Oh, now you're setting me up for absolute bollocking. No, just the whole environment.
Right.
It's
okay.
It's all.
No, I get you.
It's
I get you.
Yeah.
Now, let's go behind closed doors thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
And welcome back to 5AA Breakfast. And David Penberthy, welcome back to you too.
Yeah, g'day, Will. How you going?
Oh, I'm really well, David.
Back from a full day's wine tasting in McLaren Vale.
Now, today we've got a $100 Waller's gift card for you, and this comes off the back of Patrick Dangerfield's QC in the tribunal hearing using a Siri definition of the word severe.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got to say, it's one of the only times I've heard of anyone finding any use for Siri.
Yeah, right.
He said, "Hey, Siri, what's the definition of severe?" And then...
Of something bad or undesirable, very grating, intense.
Oh, listen.
I think she likes you, Will.
Well, I don't have any use for her. And a $100 Waller's gift card this morning. Call us up and tell us, is there anything that's voice-controlled in your life that you ever use?
So Siri or Google Home or Alexa?
Yeah, that's right, because I never do. It's useless.
All right.
I find it a complete waste of everybody's time saying, "Hey, Siri," every time you want something.
How can I help you?
See, it's just annoying.
You should give her a chance, Will. You might find it helpful.
No, I don't think so. Also, coming up later on in the program...
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, what is it, Alfred?
A call, sir.
All right, thanks, Alfred.
It's for Master Will, sir.
Oh, really? Who is it?
It's Siri, sir.
Siri?
That's correct, sir.
Oh, great. This is a waste of time.
Righto, thanks, Alfred.
You're welcome, sir.
Siri wants to talk to you, Will.
Well, I don't have a use for her.
Why don't you like me?
I didn't say I don't like you. I just said I don't have any use for you.
You haven't really tried me.
Well, I don't need to. I know I don't have any use for you.
I think you have issues about being helped by a woman.
Oh, that is ridiculous.
She got you there, Will.
No, she didn't.
I liked your call of the football on the weekend.
Oh, righto. Thanks.
Especially when Jimmy Rowe kicked the goals. You handled that really well.
Oh, that's really nice of you, Siri.
You like me now, don't you?
Actually, I think I do, yeah.
Haha, got you.
Oh, listen.
How does he do the Siri voice?
Siri had... Well, Blake is a man of many voices.
But how do you do it? How do you make...
He spoke into the microphone like Siri.
Surely not.
No, he didn't. You can do it.
What, is there like a program where you can record things and make Siri say
I don't
them?
know. I'm not going to expose the man's ways.
I think you know all sorts of things about Siri that you're not sharing with the listeners after that.
I've got such a low tolerance for any voice recognition technology. It really frustrates me. I don't know why. It
still doesn't seem to work very well. We've got it on Foxtel at home, and you go,
really?
Play lifestyle food, and it just does the little spinning. It just gets confused. Yeah, yeah. Perhaps.
5 minutes to 9.
G'day. Before you buy ham for your family, here's a shocking fact you need to know. The majority of all sliced ham in Australia is made from imported meat. So if you want to buy ham made from great tasting Aussie pork and support Aussie farming families like mine, you'll need to look closely at the little bar chart next to the Australian-made kangaroo on your pack. Unless this chart is close to full, you'll be buying ham made from imported meat. So please, always take time to look closely at your packs of ham. And remember, the fuller the bar, the more Aussie they are. Thanks.
When people walk through the doors at Pal's, the first thing they say is wow. Not only because of the size and the selection, but also because of the team. Sam and Jamie have tasted every drop. They and their team can recommend a whiskey that's just as good as that hard-to-find Japanese one, if they don't have it, that is. Or a beautiful red that's reminiscent of that outstanding cellar door you once travelled so far to visit. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
The Barbecues Galore Big Brand Easter Sale is on now. Like the 4-burner Malibu barbecue, just $449, save $150. Up to $400 off Kamado Joe. And up to a huge 40% off outdoor furniture. Hurry, the Big Brand Easter Sale is on now at Barbecues Galore.
Priceline Pharmacy's 3-day sale is on now. With half-price makeup. Plus half-price skincare, vitamins and hair care. Sale ends Thursday. Terms and conditions apply.
You can't go past IGA for hundreds of weekly specials right across the store, like Energizer Max batteries, AA 10-pack or AAA 8-pack, $7.50. Now at IGA. Offer ends March 30. Participating stores only.
Australia is working hard to ensure we all have access to safe, effective and free COVID-19 vaccines, which will give us the protection to go about our everyday lives. The COVID-19 vaccines are being assessed carefully by independent clinical experts to ensure all potential vaccines meet Australia's high safety and quality standards. After vaccines are approved, they'll be rolled out, going to those most in need of protection first. To keep up to date, visit health.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Get a Nissan Qashqai with Apple CarPlay and a standard 5-year warranty. Plus, when you finance with Nissan Future Value, receive up to 3 years free service. Only at Nissan. T's and C's apply. Approved applicants only.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
2 to 9. The grounding of the Ever Given ship in the Suez Canal's almost a visual metaphor for what's happened with the vaccine rollout and throughout the European Union. Yesterday on Sky News, Greg Hunt appeared making the announcement that the Australian government no longer is relying on the AstraZeneca on AstraZeneca to deliver 3.1 million doses from Europe. We have in fact now said just send 1 million of them to Papua New Guinea.
Yeah,
we've got our own manufacturing capacity now. We're going to be okay. Just deliver them to Papua New Guinea, who are on the cusp of a total disaster.
Sounds terrible up there.
The EU haven't responded. The EU. There was all this hoopla when when Brexit happened that the United Kingdom would somehow fail in the absence of Europe, and it was a big disaster. It's been the other way. The European Union has been diabolical in this.
Well, it's funny, isn't it?
Distribution.
Because I was someone who always thought Brexit was like myopic and sort of, turning your back on the rest of the world. But the way Europe's behaving over this, it actually endorses the claims of the Brexiteers, the people who wanted Britain to leave the EU, that it is a small-minded, priggish bureaucracy gone wild.
Completely.
And also quite belligerently nationalistic and selfish.
Yeah.
Surely they can't say no to a country like PNG.
Well, they haven't responded. I mean, there's a little bit of urgency about this at the moment. We've paid for them, by the way, 3.1 million. No idea what's going to happen to that.
Hey, Blakey just texted. He said, "No, I can't do Siri's voice. That was actually Siri." Which begs the question: how did he get Siri though? How did he get Siri to talk directly to you?
Siri say, I don't know.
Siri say something nice about Will Goodings.
Or he wrote a text and, dictated in some way.
Final shout out to Karen.
A note.
Karen, if you're listening, I hope the road trip to Tumby Bay is going well, and I'll never complain about driving a robe and back again in one day with the 2-day journey, Adelaide, Tumby, Adelaide.
We're out of time. Leon Biner's on the way. We'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.